Can't hear you.
Can't hear you.
Let me just talk to the audiences till the time my
Now.
guests. All right.
We can hear you. We
70
can hear you.
constituencies, three political parties, and just one verdict. That's the big story of today as Delhi election results start trickling in. The postal ballot counting has started. As you're seeing on your screens at the top you can see BJP seems to be ahead right now in that, but that's postal ballots expected. The real counting, the EVMs haven't been opened yet. The Delhi Assembly elections, they've seen there's been an intense three-way battle fought across all the 70 seats. And let's before I don't want to get into anything. Let me just introduce my panelists. And let me call in quickly Abhijit Iyer Mitra. He's a political commentator. Also joining me is Varun Singh, political analyst, and of course Manu Sharma, psephologist. Thank you so much, gentlemen. But let me start. It's just the numbers have just started happening on the screen. Tell me what your respective predictions are. Let's do this and your predictions, and then I'll beat you with those predictions at 12 or 1 whenever the final results come in. If you are to be beaten, if you are to be hailed, then you'll be hailed. You want to go first, Abhijit?
So, I'm going to be very cautious. Assume the exact opposite of what I'm saying because I'm renowned as election panotti. So I am predicting a massive win for AAP under the dynamic leadership of Honorable Shri Arvind Kejriwal ji.
Kya baat?
And it will be such a thrashing for the BJP that Modi will resign and Rahul Gandhi will also resign after this election.
Rahul Gandhi will resign from where?
Look,
From parliament, from everything.
Acha, from
This
parliament,
this
from
will be
everything.
earth-shattering victory for the AAP.
Acha, bas theek hai. Itna it's just like the hoodie that you're wearing on the show.
Arey, listen,
Irrelevant.
I have to say this, otherwise the BJP will lose.
Okay, done. Manu, you want to go? Or if you want, you can go the exit polls way, or you can go your own way.
No, prefer those, but see, largely, I guess, directionally speaking, Aam Aadmi Party is going to be substantially reduced. They may lose election this time, and
I can't hear.
consequent to that, I guess there
Manu's
will be
muted.
some question marks around the stability
No,
of
no,
their
we
government
can all
in
hear
Punjab.
him. He's Manu. Abhijit can't hear you. Abhijit will resolve that for you. But Abhijit, Manu is saying that Aam Aadmi Party
we can
is
hear
going
him.
to be substantially reduced, even defeated. Go ahead, Manu.
Yeah, and a consequence, of that would be for the stability of their government in Punjab. So that would be the next domino to watch out for, and it would actually happen in quick succession. So if Aam Aadmi Party fails to make a comeback in Delhi, then I guess they may have some serious challenges getting mounted in Punjab. When it comes to the BJP, I think this will solidify the current central leadership, and it will help establishing the narrative that, well, the Lok Sabha polls were perhaps a blip, and the popularity of the current leadership remains intact. So far as Rahul Gandhi, I would say maybe there are some positives for him in this, that he's been able to hammer away at his pet project of proportional representation,
Okay, we are having some trouble, Manu, with your connection. Varun, would you like to give your prediction? What will happen
more.
come 12 o'clock?
By 12 o'clock, we all would know that who's going to be the chief minister of Delhi, probably. I mean to
Itna
say
आसान.
the party at least, I would
हाँ,
say, not the person, because
okay.
the BJP hasn't yet announced who can be their leader. And unlike Abhijit, I believe that what I say probably comes true. So I'm going to say, stick my neck out, and I think whatever I have read about Delhi and the people in Delhi and the workers on the field from both the sides, whomsoever have spoken, they have said that it was Kate ki takkar till 5 days ago. Then it turned out to be in favor of BJP. Especially if you see all the exit polls, I want to believe them because that is what was the क्या कहते हैं उसे, that was the feel on the ground also. And I have so many people over there. My sister stays in Delhi, and she used to complain about the pani, sewage, and all those things. So I am hoping that seeing those sentiments on the ground, probably BJP may have a lead, but I don't see 50-60 का जो lead दे रहे हैं BJP को, but it would be a comfortable win for the Bharatiya Janata Party.
A comfortable win for the Bharatiya Janata Party. But you know, the AAP wants its fourth successive term. The BJP is looking to break its 3 decades long drought in the national capital. And the Congress, of course, is seeking to make at least some gains. They're not, I think, in the reckoning at all. But only one of these two wishes is going to come true come 12 o'clock. And as far as right now is concerned, all my panelists are going the exit poll way and saying that that's going to happen, except Abhijit, who wants to be contrarian and therefore is saying what he's
No, no,
saying. Yeah, yeah.
no, no, no.
No, no, no.
I am agreeing with the other two. I just can't say it. So
I
there are
know, I know.
reasons
Who's
for
being
what.
contrarian for his own reasons? That's what I said. Who's being contrarian for his own personal reasons because he does not want the BJP. So dil ki,
Aditi, just one
yeah.
thing. One thing everyone is sure about, that the Congress is going to do very badly. It will have no place in Delhi election even now. That is, I think all of us
अब
are agreeing
मतलब
with.
पिछली 2 बार से बैडली क्या होगा? जीरो
Zero पे
जीरो
जाएंगे.
अभी मतलब -1 तो नहीं हो सकते ना. अब जीरो ही पे रहेंगे. अब बैडली क्या करेंगे? They are what they are. They don't have a presence in Delhi. But what I do here, and Manu, you can correct me if you, at some point we hope to unfreeze Manu from the screen. But Abhijit, your sense about the Congress party. We've heard that there could be some, they've tried and they've given it a good fight. They have taken the entire dharma of the India alliance, put it on one side and said नहीं, हम तो आपके साथ ही लड़ाई करेंगे. तो भाई इंडिया अलायंस तो इसके बाद खत्म है. Whether Aam Aadmi Party wins or loses, the India alliance is history now. But having said that, you tell me, what's your sense about the Congress? Zero again, or do you see improvement? Because there are several surveys that have increased the vote share of the Congress from last time. They're
Yeah.
predicting that from 4% to 9%. Some are giving 7%. What's your sense?
So what's happening out here is, generally, with the exception of, say, the Maharashtra Assembly elections last year, uh, our polls tend to get the voter share quite right. They're not able to extrapolate that onto seats. I do believe the Congress vote share is going to go up. In fact, the only party that was active in my area was the Congress. There are certain areas where my friends have been telling me the Congress has been extremely active. One of those seats is the New Delhi seat, which is seeing a three-way contest between Pravesh Verma, Kejriwal, and Sandeep Dikshit. Now,
Correct.
Pravesh Verma is former Chief Minister Sahib Singh Verma's son, and Sandeep Dikshit, everybody knows, is Sheila
Sheila
Dikshit's son.
Dikshit's son.
And the BJP is very clear, if Sandeep Dikshit manages to get 8,000 votes, the BJP has a very good chance then of defeating Kejriwal. If Sandeep gets 12,000 votes, then Kejriwal is finished. 8,000 and 12,000 are the benchmarks for that particular seat that the BJP has set. So I'm not too sure the Congress will open its score, but there will definitely be an increase in the Congress vote share. That is undeniable.
But tell me something. You talked about the New Delhi seat, and I really want to talk about that New Delhi seat. I think last time Kejriwal from that seat won by just about 15,000 odd votes or something, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Right? He won by some
exactly.
15,000 votes from that seat. Saji Chako, thank you for joining us. Your sense about this New Delhi seat? Abhijit just said that the presence of the Congress, and this is not true of just the New Delhi seat, but of several seats in Delhi. The presence of the Congress, they might be doing a favor to the BJP this time around because they've decided to go after up.
Is that question for me?
You have to unmute yourself, Mr. Chako.
I think I'm unmuted. I'm just checking. One sec.
Yeah, yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah. So I think the
I can't
Congress
hear
has
you.
played
I
the.
can't hear him. I'm just telling my producers to.
It's on unmute.
Yeah, I
I
hear
think
you.
it's.
Now I can hear you. I can hear you
Yeah,
just a little
so I
louder.
think the Congress has played the perfect spoiler this time for the Aam Aadmi Party. As I said, they've been the B team of the BJP. I'll venture to call it to that extent. They played the perfect spoiler. Look, even see, this is no longer it's a two-party contest. It's become a triangular contest. So in it, if it were a situation where the BJP were to take on the Aam Aadmi Party singularly, there are only two parties in the fray. Then I think the Aam Aadmi Party would have been at a terrific advantage. Unfortunately, for reasons best known, or differences between the India alliance, it's just the schemes. The schism is just open up wide. I don't know. By the time the results are declared, probably even the India alliance may not be in existence. The way things are going. So coming back to my point, the Congress, they have played the perfect spoiler. I mean, Aam Aadmi Party, they cut into the traditional votes of the Aam Aadmi Party. And not only that, the AIMM, there's another spoiler. The AIMM also in Jamia, what I understand from my sources, from my thing, is they have already, laid the foundation of the defeat of Amanatullah, which is something which is unbelievable if it were to happen. And we all know Sandeep Dixit. Come on, I mean, he's the son. What are his credentials? He's just the son of the former three-time chief minister. So
No, no.
I
I
think
hear
the
you.
Aam
I
Aadmi
hear you.
Party
But
got it
then
all wrong.
that is the way our politics has turned out. That everybody's sons and daughters are coming into politics, and nobody has. What is Rahul Gandhi's claim to fame? He's the son of
No, no, no.
he's the son of the Gandhi family, and has had a long an ordinately long training period and has been launched 50 odd times and yet comes up short. But having said that, I would want to understand from you, what was the rationale in your head? What was the rationale in Rahul Gandhi's head? Probably, to why go after the whole reason, and I heard this murmur from a lot of our people. भाई इंडिया अलायंस बनी थी for all of us to be together and allow every party to fight and make the other stronger in their turf, right? So in the
Yeah,
Delhi, so clearly Rahul Gandhi didn't feel that way for Delhi. He said no. And probably one of the rationale would have been, by Aam Aadmi Party has taken our vote share, which is Congress's vote share, and become Aam Aadmi Party. They didn't take the BJP vote share. AAP took the Congress vote share and became AAP. Rahul Gandhi thought this is an opportunity to get back that vote share from the Aam Aadmi Party. As a result, what we have is a situation where really the old saying about the vote katwa happening, because you are right that it has become a triangular contest, but not for the BJP, only for the Aam Aadmi Party.
yeah. Coming back to the point, I think the problem has to be sorted between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. They didn't come to a consensus. So it is BJP only stands to gain. So,
Right.
so the problem is again coming to a point. It could be Rahul Gandhi's lack of wisdom. I don't know. I can't. I
Varun Singh,
can't.
your sense, he says that this has to be talked out between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party, which means Kejriwal and Rahul Gandhi having a conversation about why did you field 70 candidates in 70 seats in Delhi versus AAP. Do you see
You
that
know,
conversation happening?
the hopefulness in the voice of Saji that by the end of the counting, probably India Alliance might not stay. I probably say that the India Alliance dispersed or was dismantled long before these elections. Even in Haryana, they couldn't come on the same page, and they couldn't fight the election together. Especially the AAP and the Congress, which we are talking about now. So I wasn't expecting even in Delhi that they would come together and fight. And why blame? I don't understand why people want to say that give a clean field to any one of the party which can defeat the Bharatiya Janata Party. Are elections now in this country only about defeating BJP, not about letting other party contest? How can AIMM be a spoiler? It has been a political party long back, and there can be nothing but the biggest joke in this country could be there could be nothing bigger than that someone calls or refers the Congress as the B team of Bharatiya Janata Party, because it isn't possible. They have been fighting them ideologically. Rahul Gandhi continuously, abuses everything for which the BJP stands for. So, as someone who reads politics, as a student of political science, to be very honest, this is the worst analysis that can be done of the may it be state or may it be a Lok Sabha election. To be very honest, I see that the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress couldn't reach a consensus because, Aditya, as you rightly pointed out, that the Aam Aadmi Party has eaten up those votes that belong to the Congress. And that is the biggest fear that the Congress party in Delhi or in any other state has, that their vote share is depleting with every passing day and they want to regain it. They, immaterial how many times they have launched Rahul Gandhi, 50 times, 100 times, 200 times, but there is still this dream that Rahul Gandhi nurtures, that he wants to become the prime minister of this country, and he can only do it by defeating all these regional parties. And if his vote share increases, even if by 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, look at the hullabaloo they did after winning 99 seats out of 545. So
Hmm.
even if it increases by 2%, for them it is more about the moral victory right now. For them it is more about, yes, Rahul Gandhi campaigned and he helped the party get more 3% vote, 4% vote, or 2% vote. It has come down to that. And India Alliance for me doesn't exist. So, expecting them to fight together
Yeah,
and telling that
because
BJP would have won.
I'll just take this to Abhijit, Varun. And just before that, viewers, just look at this numbers on your screen. Remember, these are postal votes first, which include votes cast by the government officials on election duty, the service voters, elderly people, differently able voters who opted for the postal voting facility. Uh, Traditionally, historically, that a large chunk of that vote goes to the BJP, and therefore you see a jump in the BJP count so far in the leading trailing numbers that you see on the top of your screen. When they solidify, of course, there'll be wins and losses, but right now they're just leading and trailing numbers. The scenario can change completely in a bit. But let me just go back to the New Delhi seat, Abhijit, and come to you. In terms of um, you know, Mr. Chako spoke about the B team, BJP being the B team of the, Congress being the B team of the BJP. But it's not just as simple as that, isn't it?
Correct. I don't think Mr. Chako's analysis necessarily contradicts Varun's, or Varun's contradicts Mr. Chako's.
Yeah,
Because, this is a congruence of interests out here and a cannibalization of votes. AAP and Congress contest for the exact same voter demographic, right? It's a very similar kind of messaging to their people. It's essentially they're both cannibalizing each other's votes wherever they contest against each other,
right.
be it in Delhi, be it in Punjab. In Punjab, of course, during the general elections, the Congress really bloodied up this time round. In Delhi, I suspect there is, there's a whole story to the Congress, to the BJP strategy this time.
Hmm.
Uh, did it depend to some extent on the Congress cutting the vote? Yes. But here's the thing, if AAP knew that the Congress was going to cut its vote, why did it not make the necessary concessions to get Congress on board? Right? It takes two people to tango.
चुनाव
You
रहा,
can't
ये कोई
just
साधारण
put the.
चुनाव नहीं रहा। हाँ। ये एक अच्छाई और बुराई की लड़ाई रही है। ये काम और
I'm
गुंडागर्दी की
getting some
लड़ाई
audio.
रही है। और मुझे
Someone,
पूरा
you are playing
भरोसा है
some.
कि कालका जी के लोग
Is it
और पूरी
better?
दिल्ली के लोग अच्छाई के साथ खड़े होंगे,
No,
काम
I
के
think
No.
साथ
I
खड़े
think
होंगे,
his voice is
आम आदमी
coming.
पार्टी और अरविंद
Can
केजरीवाल
you
जी
hear
को।
me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Huh, now, yeah, better now. So what ends up happening is, you look at people like Sandeep Dikshit. Uh, Fine, maybe Sandeep Dikshit didn't have to be given the New Delhi seat. Give him some other seat. I think this was a case of classic overconfidence by AAP, which has boomeranged on AAP, and they have nobody but themselves to blame. You can, say that the BJP was the B team, etc., etc., but sorry, the Congress was the B team of the BJP, but AAP really brought this down to themselves. The other thing, there are two seats that I'm watching. One is New Delhi, and the other is Okhla,
Yeah,
where
Okhla, absolutely.
Asaduddin has. Yeah.
It's
Okhla is a
become a
place where we
four-cornered.
have, yeah, we have a very credible inputs that Asaduddin Owaisi has inflicted very serious damage on the AAP out there. So if Okhla flips, that will be a particularly surprising one. But Okhla and New Delhi are the two seats that I'm personally keeping a watch on.
Absolutely. Okhla, in fact, what we did here, interestingly, and I'm going to talk about the women voters now. And we'll talk about largely, but since of the increase in women voters this time and what that means for the Aam Aadmi Party as well as for the BJP, but particularly about Okhla. A lot of places, the number of women voters, overall has gone up in Delhi. But in Okhla, the number of women voters has gone up by 5 percentage points. The largest uptick in women voters in any constituency in Delhi this time. This is according to the latest Election Commission data. This uptick in number of women voters, 5% more, that's huge. What does this mean? Does this really mean, because these women voters traditionally have gravitated over the last two elections towards the Aam Aadmi Party? Could the pollsters be correct? Varun, would you want to come in on that?
To be very honest, I was reading somewhere that the men voters have increased by 6 lakh this time in Delhi compared to the
No, no,
women
no, no, no.
voters.
There was
So,
some
so
data. No, there was some
yeah.
data that data was wrong. The Election Commission of
Absolutely.
India came
But
out.
yes, Election Commission then clarified that more women came out, which also
Yes.
goes on to show, this was the similar trend that we saw in Maharashtra in the November elections. And even then, I have always been very observant about one thing. Wherever the women voters have increased, the victory has been a landslide for whichever party it has been. Because they come, I don't know, probably there's some telepathy that works amongst women that they come out in hordes and they vote only for a specific political party, and that is what has been seen in the past elections too. So probably with the increase in the vote and seeing the way it has helped the Bharatiya Janata Party in other states, we are hoping, and there is this particular analysis that goes in their favor right now also. And to be very honest, that 1,100 rupees ka jo revdi that Aam Aadmi Party probably gave came in very late, and they didn't fulfill that promise in Punjab. That has also been, the Bharatiya Janata Party, which had earlier in the last 1 or 2 years failed in setting narratives on social media and going to the people. Probably this time they managed to speak early on this particular announcement of 1,100 rupees being increased to 2,000 rupees or 2,100 rupees by Kejriwal, and they managed to sink into women voters that probably look at it. They haven't fulfilled the promise where there was no other political party to stop them or no LG to stop them in Punjab, but they haven't fulfilled it. But the BJP has fulfilled that promise in Madhya Pradesh. They have fulfilled it in Chhattisgarh. They have fulfilled it in Maharashtra. So that one particular message the Bharatiya Janata Party has been able to drive in. And
So the
as I was
question,
telling you
so the
earlier,
question really is this: that
one thing,
is
Alfie,
the
one
Delhi?
small thing.
Yeah, please.
I just wanted to, the water issue in Delhi, water not reaching the taps running dry in the months of April, June, and July, especially in Delhi this year and May. That cost women a lot of heartburn. पानी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इशू होता है, खास करके औरतों के लिए, those who are in the home and they have to run the entire day, and water not being there is one of the most important issue that women voters in Delhi have suffered this year, and probably that is also coming out during the elections.
Okay, let's just listen into Atishi. She's just spoken on the trend so far. Let's listen into what she's saying, and then we'll come back and discuss the women voter. I want to get your sense on this a little more.
चुनाव रहा है, कोई साधारण चुनाव नहीं रहा। हाँ। ये एक अच्छाई और बुराई की लड़ाई रही है। ये काम और गुंडागर्दी की लड़ाई रही है। और मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि कालका जी के लोग और पूरी दिल्ली के लोग अच्छाई के साथ खड़े होंगे, काम के साथ खड़े होंगे, आम आदमी पार्टी और अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के साथ खड़े होंगे।
दिल्ली के लिए कोई नंबर आप प्रेडिक्ट करना चाहेंगे आज?
देखिए, हम तो पहले ही कई दिनों से कह रहे हैं कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जी चौथी बार मुख्यमंत्री बनेंगे, भारी बहुमत से बनेंगे, और आज शाम तक आंकड़ा आपके सामने होगा।
आपका मार्जिन कितना रहेगा? आप कितना मार्जिन देख रही हैं अगर आप जीते तो?
कुछ घंटे में पता चलेगा।
आपके लिए एक चक्रव्यूह रचा गया था, लेकिन मनीष सिसोदिया, आतिशी, अरविंद केजरीवाल तीनों की सीटों पे बीजेपी ने बहुत बड़ा दांव लगाया था ताकि आम आदमी पार्टी को रोका जा सके।
Okay. All right.
देखिए,
So
आम
that is
आदमी
Atishi
पार्टी का अगर
there.
आप
I couldn't. I. There is some problem in the PCR. I cannot hear the audio, so I clearly can't comment on what she just said. But if any of you heard, do let me know also.
She said she she Abhi, it was very funny to listen to her because she was like she's winning with a landslide. The Aam Aadmi Party is making the government, and you all
But
cut
then,
in
wo
before
to
she could
all
answer.
politicians say this before till the final
No,
results
but,
come in.
but
So it's all
you all
right.
cutting at a very important juncture where she was about to say that someone asked her a question that the BJP played very hard to defeat you, and yet you have come out very fantastically in the elections. And at that point, it was cut in. I wanted to hear
Okay.
what she was going to say on that.
Now I'm
Yeah, I
also
also want
curious.
to hear what you said there.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
let's just
Yeah.
play that out again, guys.
चुनाव रहा है, कोई साधारण चुनाव नहीं रहा।
हाँ।
ये एक अच्छाई और बुराई की लड़ाई रही है, ये काम और गुंडागर्दी की लड़ाई रही है, और मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि कालका जी के लोग और पूरी दिल्ली के लोग अच्छाई के साथ खड़े होंगे, काम के साथ खड़े होंगे, आम आदमी पार्टी और अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के साथ खड़े होंगे।
दिल्ली के लिए कोई नंबर आप प्रेडिक्ट करना चाहेंगे आज?
देखिए, हम तो पहले ही कई दिनों से कह रहे हैं कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जी चौथी बार मुख्यमंत्री बनेंगे, भारी बहुमत से बनेंगे, और आज शाम तक आंकड़ा आपके सामने होगा।
आपका मार्जिन कितना रहेगा? आप कितना मार्जिन देख रही हैं अगर आप जीते तो?
कुछ घंटे में पता चलेगा।
आपके लिए एक चक्रव्यूह रचा गया था, लेकिन मनीष सिसोदिया, आतिशी, अरविंद केजरीवाल तीनों की सीटों पे बीजेपी ने बहुत बड़ा दांव लगाया था ताकि आम आदमी पार्टी को रोका जा सके।
देखिए, आम आदमी पार्टी का अगर आप इतिहास देखिए, आम आदमी पार्टी में हमने जब शुरुआत करी, हमारे पास कुछ भी नहीं था। कोई सोच नहीं सकता था कि आम आदमी पार्टी राजनीति में सफल हो सकती है। ना हमारे पास पैसे की ताकत थी, ना हमारे पास बाहुबल था, ना हम धर्म की राजनीति करते हैं, ना हम वोट बैंक की राजनीति करते हैं। लेकिन दिल्ली के लोगों का प्यार था, भगवान का आशीर्वाद था कि आज हम यहाँ तक पहुँचे हैं, और मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि दिल्ली के लोगों का प्यार और ऊपर वाले का आशीर्वाद हम पे बना रहेगा।
आतिशी,
This is
I
what.
wonder who was asking
दिल्ली
that
के लोगों का
question.
प्यार।
Yes.
Because
Yes.
no, I want to know who was asking that question because he was literally spoon feeding her talking points. Bajrang Bali
Bajrang
ka
Bali.
nahi tha. Haan.
Very-
Even I heard the Bajrang Bali.
What kind of
Mr. Chako,
journalism is this, yaar?
what do you make out of this optimism? Barely, I mean, abhi, but I think every politician, any politician worth their salt will say this right now till the numbers firm up.
Absolutely. What do you expect from her? Can she concede defeat? I mean, come on, it's a
True,
no-brainer,
true.
absolutely. No, but
Huh.
the point here is, I just wanted to, take the previous point you had mentioned about Okhla. Now, I got a lot of friends who stay in Okhla, and there's a very interesting trend which was noted there, which I would like to bring to the notice of the panelists also here. Like
Okay.
till about 12 o'clock, 12:30, I mean, everyone, anyone with some basic common sense knew that AMM was running riot. It's so surprising, I don't know how this news spread. Was it rumor? I don't know. So 12 baje ke baad, what happened is suddenly there was some sort of a afterthought or a thought ki BJP na jeet jaye. So then people, the next lot, and believe me, this is not a folklore. This is a lot of people had told me this. After 12:30, the people who came in just went and voted en masse for Aam Aadmi Party. Can you imagine something like that happening? It's like a wave. I written it in my piece also. This is unbelievable. In AMM running road for the initial part, and then by 12:30 or 1, which is halfway through, people suddenly realize that maybe this is going to help the BJP win. So let's go and vote for the Aam Aadmi Party. I mean, how do you explain it? This is
Okay, so
something which
this
I
is the
never
same
come across.
seat. This is the same seat which was rocked by the CAA protest, the Shinebug. Uh,
Absolutely, absolutely.
right.
So
So
the act
people
should be against
obviously,
the BJP.
so there is a large number of Muslim population that is in the seat who does not want the BJP to win. They're expected, understandable. Um, you're saying that according to the reports that you saw and according to what you
The
observed,
people, I spoke to a lot
the
of people
people
there.
there after 12 o'clock they went
Right.
and voted en masse from up. So before 12 o'clock they were voting for AIMIM
Absolutely. So what I'm
because
trying to
it's
say, the
this is
Congress is
one of the
nowhere.
two
What I'm
seats in Delhi. This is one of the two seats in Delhi which
right.
is literally where you have a four corner contest. This
Absolutely.
seat, yeah, and both are Muslim majority seats.
Absolutely. So that's something which is unprecedented. I mean, where do you hear this wave? It's sort of a wave. It's like a tidal wave.
But if before 12 o'clock they were voting for AIMIM and after 12 o'clock for AAP, that would hardly classify as a wave. But yes, I understand your point that the people got were told or understood that they have to. So basically, it was a united effort to make the BJP not win from that area. Abhijit, your sense of what's because the point is that votes to katenge from a four. So basically, three people vying for uh, one set of demography, one set of voter type, while the voter type for the BJP, which has been voting for the BJP from that seat, is fixed. वो नहीं बदल रहा लेकिन बाकी के तीन प्लेयर्स जो है
So,
आम आदमी पार्टी कांग्रेस और AIMIM all of them voting
uh,
from the same pie or hoping for votes from the same pie.
well, I mean, AIMIM will only aim for Muslim votes, really, whereas AAP and Congress tend to cannibalize each other's votes, and Owaisi only comes into play where there are Muslim votes to be cannibalized. That said, you know, till about 7 days before the election, the BJP's own internal polling was showing them just getting 25 seats. The real turnaround happened about 5 days before the polling when every cabinet minister was given two MLA seats to manage. So they literally had to imagine a union cabinet minister being given two MLA seats. That was it.
Right, right.
And they fought this at the booth level. This was not fought on any big Delhi-wide issues. This was not fought on national issues. This was fought at every single booth level. What the BJP workers did was they compared the general election voting with the state election voting. In the general election, the BJP tends to clear about 50%. In the state election, they fall very short of that, and they focused on all the households they believe were doing the switch voting. Now, that's a very, very smart strategy because you're conserving energy, not wasting it where it is not required, and putting it in with what last minute preparations you have into where you need to put it in. Will it yield results? I don't know, but it's certainly a strategy that managed to turn a lot of things around at the last minute. Uh, was it enough? I don't.
Was it enough? You don't know, but if you look at, I want to come to that point about the almost 5.73%, 6% uptick in women voters in, let's say, Okhla. Mr. Chako, you've been there. You've spoken to people in Okhla. What really happened? Who are these women, and why this 6%? That's a very large number percentage uptick in Okhla for women voters.
Yeah, because traditionally in Delhi, if you see the women voters turnout is pretty low when you compare with other states. I mean, this is a statistic, or this is a thing which is very clear. No, Oakland, what I understand, because I didn't speak. I mean, it's very candid here.
No, no,
I
but
didn't get to
just
speak to them.
quickly to sort of let you know, this time the number of women voters in Delhi has exceeded the
Mhm.
number of male voters, so it's not low any longer.
Right, right, right.
It's
So
just by
so
a
probably
0.5 percentage or 0.6 percentage more, but it's there. You can see the chart on your
is
screen.
this the ECI data? Are you quoting the ECI data
Yes,
on this?
yes. This is the
Yes.
latest
Right,
ECI
right,
data.
right. So I stand corrected. But what I'm saying, coming to the point, I didn't get to speak to many women voters there, but I could sense one thing, the one mood there, because they're saying that Aam Aadmi Party didn't do all the promises, the tall claims, the tall promises they made. Okla has not actually, if you take a detour of the place, there are a lot of sewage work to be done. So there was some sort of angst, there was some sort of grudge, there was some sort of anger, resentment against the Aam Aadmi Party for not fulfilling the promises. Look, it's very clear one thing. Nowadays voters are no fools. They're very clever. You gone are the days when you just give them remedies or give them some bare promises. You have to be seen to be acting on your words. You have to fulfill your promises. If you don't, the voters will punish you. Make no mistake. I think that's what is going to cost the Aam Aadmi Party, because Okla, that place, the roads are in very bad shape. There's a lot of garbage piled up. Okla is just a microcosm of Delhi. I'm not saying that. Even Delhi, you see a lot of garbage being piled up in good places. Even in South Delhi, where I stay. I'm not trying to point at s number of corners, but the fact remains: if you don't fulfill your promises, you will be punished. There is no denying. There is no taking away the fact. I think it's on that point, plus the fact that Kejriwal's own reputation, his so-called spotless, blemishless track record has been sullied by that liquor charges against him. Now, another thing is that the lower middle class, we always think that the lower middle class are the traditional vote base of the Aam Aadmi Party. I think even there his image has taken a beating, a dent. Now all that thing goes into negative voting, and it's the BJP which stands, because see, one thing is very clear: on what platform or on what plank did Kejriwal come to power? He said he was it's on corruption, anti-corruption. Now, when the fountainhead of the party, when the leader of the party is caught in a corruption, in a major scam, look, you can't hoodwink the people anymore. So also the anti-incumbency. Let's not forget, they've been there for 3 terms. We just
Two and a
brushing that
half.
under the car, 2.5. So there is a lot of anti-incumbency which is already there. By default, the anti-incumbency will work against you. Any poll in any election, that's a common
Fair
knowledge.
point. Varun Singh, is it anti-incumbency or is it just anti-incumbency over the last almost 12 and a half years? Or is it got to do with, as Mr. Chako is pointing out, the hit on the party with a difference image? That's
Yeah.
the image that the Aam Aadmi Party came into politics with, the idealism, the party with a difference. Over the last several years, the number of scams, the not number really, the Delhi liquor scam, the Sheesh Mahal controversy, all these various things taking a call. Obviously, the theatre in Delhi perpetually, because of the fights with the LG, fights with the centre, uh, not working. Nothing is going to really change. Even if they again are elected, there'll be more theatre. Anything they're not able to do uh, is blamed on the centre. And frankly, the centre is also not, has unleashed an LG on them, which has always been very hostile. So it's just a two-way game. It's politics. That's how it is. But what do you see? Is this just anti-incumbency fatigue, or is it the beginning of the end of the Kejriwal halo? Because
You know,
there's a halo on Kejriwal, a political halo, party with a difference, man with a difference, politician, बदल देंगे राजनीति, पर वो सब हट गया ना, दो बेडरूम के अपार्टमेंट से अब वो शीश महल में पहुंच गए.
in the normal nomenclature for this would be anti-incumbency only. But to be honest, this is the Delhi voters waking up. In the entire uh, points that we are reading out, may it be the liquor scam, may it be the Sheesh Mahal, we are, as a journalist, we normally conveniently forget that Delhi riots has may probably have not played a vital role in 2020, but later on, the way things came out, the way it has been spoken continuously, the Shaheen Bagh issue, the later CA controversy, everything has come out combined together for the Delhi voters, which have been voting for the Bharatiya Janata Party in the Lok Sabha, but avoided voting for them during the assembly election, expecting that the Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal probably with that halo on his head of being, an angel sent from the top to clear Delhi ka sewage, to clear Yamuna. Everything has fallen flat now. To be very honest, if you see things in perspective, the liquor scam, they are not at all avoiding it. And I'm sitting on a YouTube show of a newspaper right now, to be honest, and that is what has helped deflate the entire image of Arvind Kejriwal. That is the podcast and those small videos that were
Hmm.
sent out by not the mainstream media. When you play Arvind Kejriwal's video during 2013, when I'm telling you as a journalist at that point of time, even we were, wearing those hats, those topis of Anna Hazare, India against corruption. We were also fighting at that point of time. And Arvind Kejriwal used to say कि भैया इन लोग पॉलिटिशियंस को बचाने के लिए सरकारी वकील कर रहे हैं. Now similarly he is appointing करोड़ों का वकील. Those simple things have worked and have awakened many youngsters. If you see I was going through one of the exit poll data on how many postgraduate people have whom they have preferred. So if you see, illiterate have mostly gone with in that particular. I have no मतलब मैं किसी को judge नहीं कर रहा हूँ, but illiterate have mostly gone with Aam Aadmi Party, and the postgraduate and graduate people have voted for the
Yes, but
Bharatiya Janata Party, and professionals have also voted for them.
fair point. Even we've looked at that demographic data, and what let's call a spade. But the fact remains that Delhi is largely, I mean, 70% of Delhi lives in juggies, unauthorized colonies,
Yes.
60% plus. The middle class that we talk about lives in Gurgaon and Noida largely. Delhi में the inequality is so huge, and therefore Kejriwal's promises have worked. The lower middle class, the people in the juggies, and Manu, I'd really like to hear from you. What's your, as a psephologist, what's your assessment? Because frankly, the way which this election goes and the numbers on your screen so far, viewers, we should tell you that these are just trends coming in from the postal ballots. The numbers on our screen clearly are showing that BJP is in the lead. These numbers may not hold half an hour, 20 minutes from now, and by 12 o'clock may be completely the opposite. Who knows? But so far, it's showing us what it is showing us. And Manu, I wanted to come in here because that middle class, which is really a big class because there's a lower middle class, the upper middle class. The middle class as the upper middle class and the middle class largely tends to gravitate towards the BJP, and the lower middle class, the juggi में जो रहते हैं लोग, they are the people who gravitate towards Arvind Kejriwal. Has the sheen gone away from their eyes this time because of all these scams?
Well, see, now here's this nuanced point, as to what's going on. Now, a lot of estimates, if you look at, suggest that Delhi as a territory, as a unit, administrative unit, it has a per capita income of more than 5,000 US dollars currently. Now, that has huge implications. What are the implications? In terms of economics, this is treated as the Goldilocks zone. That is, whereby people start experimenting with different consumer preferences and at times also political preferences. But the problem with Aam Aadmi Party has been that they have not been agile, and they've stuck to their rhetoric as to what worked for them 10 years ago. Playing the victim that, oh, we've been troubled by everyone, nobody wants us here, we are fighting a lonely battle, and then add to that a healthy dose of freebies, and that was sort of the election sort of strategy that they used to carry out. Now, what's changed in this particular election is that, when you have rising per capita income, the the lines between community and class get blurred. And what I mean is that when you go up the ladder of income, you tend to vote more as a class. That is, are you from the richer segments, or you from the poorer segments, or whatever you have. But lower down the per capita income, you would vote along your community lines. That is, whether you are, from X religion, whether you have this gender, whether you. So what has perhaps taken place in Delhi is that increased amount of prosperity has brought some blurring of those traditional voting lines, which has confused.
But
I
has
would
that
say a lot of
prosperity come
political
about
observers
only in the
describe.
last 2, 3
And
years? Has that
no, that
prosperity come
prosperity has
about
actually
only
come about
because,
over the last 10.
right? So 2015 and 2020, en bloc, that's
To
the
touch
middle
upon the
class, the
second bit,
jungi.
so it's kind of a,
They voted for the Aam Aadmi Party.
yeah, yes. So basically, what has happened is that with the increased prosperity, people were expecting better civic amenities and a better city.
Huh.
I was talking about this on some other show. Pull up movies from 10 years ago, those Delhi 6, Oye Lucky Oye, Khosla Ghosla,
Yeah, absolutely.
and you look at the Delhi that look back then. Yeah. And so somewhere we even regress from that. And the talk was to make Delhi, London, or Paris. So somewhere I think there is cognitive dissonance around it. People were angry, but people were not that angry to go out and vote against Kejriwal. So they needed an impetus, and that impetus came in the form of the, I guess, tax relief, perhaps, that sort of convinced the middle class that look, we have one administration that could be friendlier. I'm not out and out friendly, but friendlier than the one we have in the state, and why not experiment?
Interesting. I am just looking at, there's a video statement that Arvind Kejriwal has put out just a short while ago. Um, no, not actually a short while ago. It's an old video statement. Sorry, my bad. Somebody just texted me this, and so largely what I was wanting to ask Manu, and I understand the point you're trying to make. I wish Sutanu was here. Because I had a follow up question for him. Yes, Sutanu, you're
I
there.
am,
There you are. Thanks.
yeah.
Sorry, I didn't see you on the screen. Sutanu, I had a follow up question. This is largely about the middle class and the Muslims, and of course the women voters. Three sets of people. And when I say middle class, I meant the Jugi class, because Kejriwal has made a very loyal customer over the last 10 years out of that segment of the people, with all his free water, free electricity, free bus ride schemes, which have benefited them immensely. And I'm not just talking about the freebies, I'm also talking about the mohalla clinics. There are the good governance, the women there, they take advantage of these mohalla clinics. They feel comfortable going there. The schools, the quality is debatable by many. There are many critics who put out another side of the story. But fact of the matter is that overall quality of schooling in Delhi has gone up. Your sense, why, if at all, the numbers hold what exit polls are predicting? And I'm not even going by the numbers on our screen right now, because, as you know, these are just postal ballots so far.
No. EVM's counting has begun half an hour ago.
EVM's counting has begun half an hour ago. I thought it started at, yeah, it's already, yeah.
No.
Right. Got it. I'm lost sense of lost a track of time, but yeah. So tell us, how do we rationalize this? If the exit poll numbers hold, that means the women voters are not going to vote in that quantity for Mr. Kejriwal and company. The Muslim voter is not going to vote in that quantity as it did last time for Kejriwal.
This time, really, the you can say the downfall of the Aam Aadmi Party started when they won the MCD elections a few years ago. Really, because even before that, the state of Delhi roads, sewerage, garbage, poor quality of drinking water, everything was very much around even then. But the AAP always used to say that, look, BJP controls MCD and we are helpless, we can't do anything, LG हमको काम नहीं करने देता है, blah, 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 blah. And the goodwill factor of the work they did, which was quite good, as you pointed out, government schools and some health facilities, they actually genuinely did good work. So it helped them a lot in 2020. But after the MCD election victory for the AAP, they simply have run out of excuses. Whom do they blame now? Because, pollution, they used to say, Punjab mein parali jalti hai. Now they have an AAP Sarkar in Punjab. Garbage dumps, they control MCD. Poor roads, pothole roads, they control the MCD. So they have run out of scapegoats and excuses. And this time, it's not so much a vote in favor of the BJP, it's an angry vote against the Aam Aadmi Party and particularly Kejriwal. So, I will not be surprised if 2013 is repeated. And to be very frank, Sheila Dikshit, I personally feel, was a very good chief minister of Delhi. But yet, because there was massive anger against the UPA regime back then, Sheila Dikshit became collateral damage. And she herself lost the assembly election. This time, because of anger against AAP and Arvind Kejriwal, he might end up losing his own seat.
Okay, so tell me, you talked about his own seat. You
And
talked
middle
about.
class, is a very dicey concept in Delhi because, anyone who lives in Delhi knows that the lowest skill work is that of a domestic help. That's the lowest skill, bottom of the pyramid. Forget the garbage pickers and all that because that's a very small percentage of the overall population. But even the domestic help, an average person works in 4 households and she earns about 15 to 18,000 per month, and her husband might be an auto rickshaw driver or something who earns another 20 to 25,000. So that's not a small sum of money. In the rest of India, that would be a very, very big sum.
Tell me the numbers that you see on your screen right now, Sutanu. Were you expecting these sort of numbers? Do you
Yeah.
think these numbers will
Yes.
hold?
I told you on fifth evening that there's two possibilities. One is that it might be like a 2018 Madhya Pradesh election where the AAP gets a higher number of votes or a higher vote share and yet loses, or it will be a very, very big win for the BJP. I had very clearly said on fifth evening that these are the two possibilities.
Manu, doesn't it all depend on who voted and who did not? Because we all know that at 60.5%, Delhi has seen a 2% lower turnout than in the 2020 polls. Now, we know that a higher voter turnout is no sure shot
Yeah.
indicator of pro or anti incumbency. A lot of people say that. Uh, that apart. But this lower voter turnout that we are seeing overall and a higher number of women
See,
voters going to the
mhm.
polling booth, can we add up something there?
See, both Aam Aadmi Party and the BJP are cadre-based parties. And when it comes to cadre-based parties, there is always this risk of forget anti-incumbency or a pro-incumbency election, but there is also something called the cynical election. When you have your own workers, when you have your own strong supporters, basically say, kya farak padta hai? And so this was that kind of an election for both BJP and the Aam Aadmi Party, mind you. But what's changed for the BJP at the last moment was that based on the feedback, they did decide to go in for freebies, they did decide to go in for tax breaks. So they went all out trying to basically convince the cynical workers and supporters, who were thinking of sitting out or waiting it out, that no, you should turn up on the booth and vote for us. And I think that perhaps has done the trick. So in terms of relative turnouts of the staunchest bases, somewhere I guess BJP is doing better as of now. I mean, if the results hold.
All right. There was a culture of, you spoke about their both being cadre based parties, but uh, there was a dissonance between the BJP and the RSS during the general election. We saw what happened during the general elections. They kissed and made up. Maharashtra, we saw what
Yes.
happened, and it was a
And
complete
mhm,
turnaround.
mhm,
This time around in Delhi elections, what do you
yes.
think
It's actually,
is the role
mhm.
that these cadres are playing on the ground? Because a lot of people told me that Aam Aadmi Party does not really have, it was a volunteer based party, but there are no more volunteers, they're all professionals now. That sheen has gone.
I
Do
mean,
you think that is making a difference? I'm so
I mean,
sorry, I have a
yeah.
bad,
See,
bad throat.
fundamentally, yeah. You see, fundamentally, cadres are volunteers. These are the people who are swayed by the ideology and then decide to work at the grassroots. And I guess for everyone who's ever experimented with some or the other kind of political ideology, we've been volunteers at some point of our, growing up. So, what happened to the Aam Aadmi Party volunteers, or you may call cadres, was that, it was the era of cynicism. They turned cynical about the current way of running the things. And with the RSS, I would say they felt that after the, let us say, shock dip in the performance of the BJP in the national elections, they felt that they once again had a greater say in the BJP affairs than the government. And that led to them, rejoining the political campaigns in Haryana, in Maharashtra, and now perhaps also we are seeing in Delhi. So there is a stark difference. And I guess perhaps it could be a lesson for Aam Aadmi Party. They can also go back to the drawing board, convince their volunteers and cadre base that they will listen to them. They won't run it like a kitchen cabinet, and perhaps they'll make a comeback.
Look, if these numbers which are on our screen they hold, then really, Abhijit, it's also there is also the union budget factor and the huge tax relief that has come Delhi's way. Obviously, there was a full-page ad in the papers here in Delhi the day after the budget and before the voting.
So, this is a huge thing. The beginning of the turnaround that I was talking about, the BJP internal polling, which was doing 25 seats and changed in 5 days. The trigger, in fact, one of the triggers was the budget. Delhi has a huge salaried class, because all your government employees live out here. The problem also, and I'm not just talking about government employees, a lot of the BPO employees and things like that are also based out of here who are a salaried class.
Right,
Now, what happens here is we need to understand in Delhi, when you say Juggi Jhopdi, you are not talking Dharavi.
right.
A lot of what is classified as slums here are, in fact, urban villages. Every posh area, including the embassy area, Safdarjung Enclave, places like Uday Park or Niti Bagh and things, have their own slums within them, so-called slums, which are in fact the original Jat, Gujjar, whatever local villages out there. We just don't have the urban zoning laws applied to them, right? They are, in fact, the prices of houses out there are insane. The plot sizes are much smaller. So if you have a 300 square yard plot in Niti Bagh, the slum behind it will have a plot size of about 70 to 100 square yards, but a flat there itself will cost you about a crore and a half. Now, that is the kind of salaried class you're talking about, who can afford maybe, say, a 700 to 800 square foot flat, which still pays a per square foot cost, which is similar to what you get in Niti Bagh and things like that, but is obviously more
Okay.
affordable. Now, what ends up happening out here is, precisely because of that, the sheer number of people who'd be earning 12 lakhs or under per year. I'm not talking about family income, I'm talking about individual income. This has been a massive, massive boost for them. It's a freebie without being a freebie. So it's the biggest of all freebies without actually giving money. You're not taking the money away. So that has very clearly had an impact, especially in Delhi. The thing about the budget was, everybody was saying there's a Bihar budget. For me, it was a much bigger, like, honestly,
It was
giving
a
a 12 lakh exemption of taxes is far more substantial than putting up a Makhana board that affects, three districts in Bihar.
Bihar.
So these are things which were very, very carefully calculated. I think were carefully calculated. And I do believe it is going to start showing the result. It's still early. I will never underestimate AAP and their ability to pull off certain rabbits from the hat. But there has certainly been a huge fillip in the BJP's chances in the last 5 to 7 days.
Cool. Philip, to BJP's chances in the last 5 to 7 days, the budget also playing a role. I just want to come to you, Sutunu, because something that Abhijit said about up pulling a rabbit out of its hat, that might also be true. The numbers have started climbing again for up. And it could be a 2013 like situation. Do you see that? Because a lot of the margin in a lot of seats could be the deciding factors, and they have extremely low margins. If we saw last time,
Well, I think it'll be foolhardy to say anything concrete before 11 o'clock.
okay.
Because by then, about 3, 4 rounds of counting will be over. Then, you can have a fairly educated guess as to where it's
How
heading.
many
Right
rounds
now,
of counting in Delhi are going to happen?
uh, in some cases, maybe 20. Average, you can say 20 in each constituency.
Average in 20, because there's the whole dilemma about the Muslim voters, and I want to come to you
No, no, there
with
never was any dilemma. They'll never vote for the BJP. Simple,
no,
period.
dilemma. No, no, not for them wanting to vote for the BJP, but because they were a voting bloc that the AAP had in the last two elections. This time there is Congress in the reckoning on two very key seats. There is AIMIM in the reckoning, Mustafabad and Okhla.
Yes.
Kejriwal plays on BJP's pitch a lot of times on this Hindutva angle. There is for the Tirth Yatra for senior citizens. He bats on the front foot for the Rohingyas. Has been very careful in not cultivating an anti-Hindu image while still playing the Muslim card. Do you think the Muslims might have felt offended by the fact that he did not do
There's peculiar
what
thing
he
about
did
the
after
Muslim.
during the 2020 riots, CAA protests? As chief
Well,
minister,
the
could he have done
Muslims
more?
were, there's no doubt about the fact that they were unhappy with the Aam Aadmi Party, the Muslim community in Delhi particularly. But there's a peculiar element in Muslim voting behavior. Their first priority usually is to vote for someone who is capable of defeating the BJP. All right. So, which is why many were astonished as to how there were leaders who were accused of 92, 93 riots in Bombay, Shiv Sena leaders. They were given votes by the Muslim community because in Bombay they realized that, this Maha Vikas Aghadi, whatever it's called, Congress, NCP, Shiv Sena, is capable of defeating the BJP. But in Delhi, I don't see a large number of Muslims shifting to Congress because Congress is not a viable option when it comes to defeating the BJP. So they would be angry, yes, but then they were
Okay.
angry with Akhilesh Yadav also in the
So
aftermath of
this
Muzaffarnagar riot.
uptick that many exit polls, including CSDS, Lokniti, they've come out with this uptick in Congress vote share from the 4.5% in the last election to almost 9% in this election. Manu, which is this voting class that could be, adding to the Congress vote share this time?
Okay, see, well, I'll dial back to 2013, and I was sitting with a very senior congressperson who is now in the BJP, and we were discussing about as to what this Aam Aadmi phenomena was. And and our analysis back then, and it still holds, is that Aam Aadmi Party basically had three things going for them. First was it was a party of urbane, educated, intellectual, activists who had decided to change the politics. So they had no baggage. Number one. Number two, they had a strong appeal with the middle class voting segment that traditionally was BJP's bastion. Another
Right.
advantage, they could easily go for that. It was harder for the UPA, led by Congress, to appeal to that middle class, and for strident, appeal to proportional representation. Now, the third bit was that Aam Aadmi Party was
Right.
also simultaneously able to appeal to the marginalized sections of the society. So they came in with no baggage. They could take away chunks of votes from middle class. They could take away chunks of votes from the marginalized sections, and it was a winning formula. But now, what's happened in the recent past is that there's been some fraying of that middle class vote. And the other bit is that with Rahul Gandhi's persistent focus, I would say, on social justice and social engineering topics, that rhetoric is simply unmatched by Arvind Kejriwal as of now. So
Okay.
whatever renewed traction that we are looking at from the Congress, largely it's coming from the marginalized vote banks which the Congress have lost to the Aam Aadmi Party, and some bits of it are returning. And also there is smaller still, but there is a nostalgia voter also in the fray, who really liked the days of Sheila Dikshit
Yeah,
and a
okay.
much gentler
Let me
political
bring
vibe of
in
that era.
let me bring in
So
Matthew Anthony at this point. You've been talking about Congress all this while. He's a national spokesperson, AICC joint secretary. Let's hear it from him. He was smiling very benignly when you were pointing out various things. What is the mood, Mr. Anthony? Is there hope of I'm sure there are no hopes of winning Delhi, but making definite strides ahead in terms of vote share, number of seats?
Aditi, Congress has been fighting elections from.
Can't hear you. Your voice
Can you hear
needs
me
to be a
now?
little louder. Can we check?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you faintly. We need to
How
increase
is
the
it
volume.
now? How is
Perfect,
it
yes.
now?
Perfect, perfect. I think there is some problem in our studio.
Okay, is
Okay,
it better now?
perfect.
Okay, so Congress has been fighting from the time of independence, or even before the independence. We have been fighting for this country, and from the time of independence, and we will fight despite the election results. And then we will be there. The next elections as well. I have to put a few points across here that 1998 to 2013, the the major development in Delhi has been witnessed under the Congress regime under Sheila Dikshit. Nobody can deny it. Even anyone here in the frame also
Nobody
cannot.
denies that.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. The infrastructure, the metro, the CNG transformation, the private power
nobody
players,
denies.
the 5,000 buses addition, the cluster bus management, the landscaping of the city. What has this last 11 years brought into the city? Is a question which I'm posing to all the viewers as well as to the people of Delhi also. You've seen a lot of the Delhi election was won in 2015. I'm not saying the 2013 to the 15 time, but in 2015, largely against a move against the central government of the Congress, not against the Sheila Dikshit government. There were a lot of allegations made by AAP, especially on the 2G, where the verdict has come out very clear that there was no allegation as there was no corruption as per the allegations. Okay, now Kejriwal played it, and there so many detailing happened about Delhi, which I listened to. But 40% of the unauthorized colonies has created the large amount of vote bank for AAP. Now, coming back to it, there are a couple of major things in Delhi which is yet to be addressed by either the BJP or the AAP, considering the fact that Delhi is a major political matrix. It has got a government of India, it has got a state government, it has got state agencies, it has got central government agencies, it has got municipalities also. So it needs a craft, it needs a tactful leader to manage all these things. Whereas it has only got a leader who is just promoting himself like Modi. So that's exactly what is resulting in. You have the Yamuna issue, you have the air issue, which is being pertinent for years. What has been done to this? What
You're
concrete
sounding
actions has been taken to it?
you're sounding like a BJP spokesperson
I'm not sounding
criticizing.
like a BJP
I'll tell you
spokesperson.
why. I'll tell you why.
Uh-huh.
I'll tell you why. It is about the it's similar arguments I hear from uh, BJP spokespersons about Arvind Kejriwal. Arvind Kejriwal is a Congress alliance partner, part of the India alliance. Throughout the campaign trail, Rahul Gandhi did not attack the BJP. He attacked Arvind Kejriwal. Are you hoping to snatch back? Is this because you want to take back the vote share or of the vote share that the AAP has snatched from Congress after 2013? You want to get it back? But if that is the case, then why have the India alliance? Is this the beginning of the end of the India alliance?
Are you done with your question, Aditi? Yeah. Okay. So the answer is very simple. I will take a little bit from the Constitution Assembly formation. When it was the Congress Party who was taking the lead to form the Constitution Assembly, the Constituent Assembly, we had people from all parts of this political spectrum, even from the social spectrum, who squarely disagreed with the Congress ideology as well. But our thoughts were for India. The similar thought lines is our fundamental founding origin of the Congress Party, and we believe in that one because the federal structure of this country, as well as the the constitutional respect which we are following in this country, has to be protected, which BJP was completely faltering at. They were going in an extreme fascist way. So, for the interest of protecting India as well as the country's constitution, we have joined hands with all the parties, all the political ideologies which was opposing the thought of the BJP's extremism. Whereas, we have been partners with CPM in the center, CPIM, but we have been squarely opposing them in the state, because in the state of Kerala and in the state of West Bengal when they were there. That is because, in the state, when we have an issue with the governance, when we have corruption, it is the political honesty within us to squarely oppose them. Whereas for the larger interest of the country, we need to kind of have a unity for a larger interest, which is beyond the state politics. We have joined hands with them. So there is no ambiguity from a Congress perspective on why we have joined hands with the AAP and why we have an India alliance.
So you're basically saying
that's where we are.
Kerala. So that you're basically saying that when Kerala elections happen next year, you are going to fight against the left there.
From the time of existence, we have been doing that, and there is no change to it.
So let me bring in Abhijit there. Abhijit, is there a dichotomy there?
Look, there is no dichotomy that I can see right now. These things are all, as far as I can see, it's how do I put this? I'm trying to find an analogy here. Okay, just give me 5 minutes. I'm going to compose my thoughts and get back to you. I don't know how to frame it right now.
You were not paying attention. You were not paying attention.
No, I was. I'm not.
All right, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Sutanu, you want to come in there?
India Alliance, was in any case, as the spokesperson is saying, it was primarily designed to what they call the fascist so-called regime of
it was an anti-BJP
for the Lok Sabha elections. So it's a diffuse thing. Like for instance, elections to Bihar will happen in about 8-9 months now. So the India Alliance will actually be alive and kicking in Bihar because the Congress is a very, very junior partner. RJD is the lead partner, and some other smaller parties, the left and others. It will be intact, but by 2026, when the elections happen in Assam, West Bengal, Kerala, India Alliance will disappear. But it will work in Tamil Nadu. So there's nothing much you can hope from India Alliance in terms of giving a fight at the state level to BJP.
Okay, Abhijit
come on.
Abhijit has collected his thoughts.
Even in Haryana they couldn't. So
yeah, even in Haryana, and I don't see it happening in West Bengal either. They're going to vote separately. Yeah. Yes, Abhijit.
This is going to be a bit of a weird analogy. What people refer to as the deep state in America, sorry to bring America into this, is actually congruent interests. They, the Bill Gates Foundation, for example, wants a monopoly on what medicines get approved, what don't. Open Societies Foundation wants to create market distortion so that they can, profit the most when market crashes happen. Now, different motivations, but similar objectives. Now, you extrapolate that into the Indian political scene. You can have different motivations. The India Alliance can be rock solid at a national level because at the national level, it comes to defeating the BJP. But at the state level, different motivations will play out different. Right? Samajwadi Party and Congress will have a different agenda in UP. which will be very similar to RJD versus Congress in Bihar, RJD plus Congress in Bihar, but the relative strength of the Congress being different in those two areas would mean these would play out very differently. Sometimes, as it has happened in Delhi, for example, it will just fray completely. In Punjab, for example, it is going to be a Congress versus AAP fight, which doesn't necessarily. I think the Congress has shown, uh, well, it used to be more adept at this in the past, but even now it shows that it's able to sort of negotiate and manipulate these regional contradictions pretty damn well. I mean, look at
But
Mamta
tell me,
Banerjee
yeah,
and the
but
CPIM.
tell me, Abhijit, the animosity that it soaks between so-called alliance partners. There's a lot of name calling, bad blood, and I want to ask you, Mr. Anthony, all this animosity that happens during the election cycle, or let's say the assembly election cycle, the Delhi election between, and then maybe a couple of years down the, and you're calling, everybody is calling the other side names, and then you think that after a couple of years or a few years, when general elections happen, uh, you become one again. Doesn't that sort of leave a sour taste in the mouth of the voter, because the voter is also not an idiot, right?
See, we have to look at it from a larger perspective. Yes, of course, there are exchanges when it comes to the parties opposing each other in the states. Um but from the political perspective, that because we are an India alliance against the BJP at a national perspective, uh, it doesn't allow us to politically compromise ourselves in states, with the regional parties, where we have to fight the regional parties there for the state elections. So it is a political balancing. There will be exchanges. At the same time, there will be political maturity, which is beyond the state, which comes to a certain point of discussions. And there, a lot of things will be rested, a lot of things will be settled with that broadness, with that breadth in mind for the larger interest of the country. That's where
But
it will get settled.
if, let's say, Kejriwal loses this election in Delhi,
Oh,
will
by the
that
way, Kejriwal, Sisodia, and Atishi, all three are trailing,
all three are
and
trailing? Kejriwal,
and the gap
yeah.
is widening, with each counting phase.
So that's New Delhi constituency for Kejriwal, for Atishi it's Kalka ji,
Kalka ji,
and for,
and Jangpura for Manish Sisodia.
yeah, all three trailing in their respective. So this is like all the chief ministers, both of them, and one deputy chief minister, all three. It's going to be a huge loss of face for the. I mean, this is almost like the halo has gone out. If the numbers hold and if they do indeed lose, it's like the halo has disappeared. I mean, there was at least one, not one, but there was a political halo around Mr. Narendra Modi and a certain Mr. Kejriwal, at least north of the Vindhyas. But clearly, that the halo of that Mr. Kejriwal has obviously, if he loses this election, it will be largely because that halo has not worked. But Sutru, I want to ask you this, and Manu, I'll come to you after this, because I remember speaking to you earlier. You had said issues like corruption do not matter to the Delhi voter, but it has reduced the value of brand Kejriwal, has it not?
Well, corruption to that extent matters. When I say it doesn't matter for the Indian electorate, is that it does take the halo off, but it's not a one issue thing. Like Jayalalitha was immensely popular. She was convicted of corruption charges. Lalu Yadav is incredibly popular he's a convicted criminal. He's incredibly popular. I mean, Ajit Pawar, Sharad Pawar, I mean, you can go down the route. Yediyurappa in Karnataka of the BJP. When your allegations of corruption are intermingled with very poor governance, that is when public anger, steps into the fray, and that's what we are seeing in. And remember, it was not just this 2G scam and all that. The allegations that felled the UPA in 2014. It was the terrible performance on the economic front of the UPA between 2011 and 2014. Terrible, disastrous performance. So that was the primary reason. Ditto here, very poor governance, no roads, pothole roads, no drinking water, muddy drinking waters, open sewerage
Sewage,
lines.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, people are
And
fed up.
those things one kept hearing throughout the campaign trail. But
Yeah,
Manu
but in
has to go, so I
2020 they got away. They got away in 2020 because they said MCD to BJP ke paas hai. They don't have that excuse now. So
Exactly.
got it. I just want to take last comments from Manu. Manu, do you do you believe that this to be a do or die election for Kejriwal? Because if he doesn't do this, if he doesn't win this, if he loses his own seat in the larger scheme of Indian politics, what will
Well,
happen to Kejriwal?
I mean, no, you see, no politician can be written off. I mean, they can always make a comeback if they get the adjustments right. I think what's happened to Kejriwal over here is that in politics, you can only allow the rhetoric to run ahead of your performance by a certain margin. You cannot have your rhetoric run ahead of your performance by some hundreds of kilometers. And I think that's that gap which provoked anger amongst the public. So, when you say we'll make Delhi, London, or Paris or something other, we'll clean Yamuna, I mean, fine. But when people see that frothy, foamy Yamuna, when people see that, well, I mean, forget London or Paris, we are not even close to Vietnam. So that I think was provoking anger. And if they would have uh, I would say, said that, look, we got it wrong, we'll try and do something more. Instead of taking accountability, what they said was, oh, we couldn't do it because, the LG won't let us do, the Modi government won't let us do. And so zero accountability or lack of accountability and the rhetoric that was running miles ahead of the performance. I think that's sort of what's hit them. If they correct these two, take accountability and match their performance to their rhetoric, I guess they can still make a comeback after this defeat.
All right, and do you have a prediction and do you have the numbers on top of your screen right now? Uh, how much of this, it's 9:30 right now. How much of this do you think is going to hold?
I mean, if this trend holds for another half an hour, then we are looking into solidification of the trends. So I think 30 more minutes, and I think the picture should be clear now.
I think it's
The,
done and dusted. Done and dusted.
you think it's done and dusted?
Yeah.
Mr. Anthony, I'll come to you, Sutunu.
Fair
Mr.
enough.
Anthony,
Fair enough.
it's an improvement. It's 100% improvement from last time at least, if these numbers hold for the Congress. Your thoughts?
I think we are in the right path, though, not to say that we are making a very much number of seats here. At the same
But you
time, we are making our
expect an
presence.
increase in vote share.
Exactly, yes, and we are in the we are in the stay. We are not going to run away from this. Our politics is not determined by win or loss. But because you have been, generations of this country has been seeing Congress has been staying there in the political system. As per Manu said, that no, you can't write off anyone in politics, and our intention in politics is to serve the people first. And just because to win elections, we are not changing things. Just like the way a business magnet will change the things, we are sticking to our core thoughts of the secular and the socialist mindset, and the secular mindset, which is being very negatively campaigned by BJP. But we are sticking to our core that we consider everyone as equals, and we consider wealth distribution as one of our foremost principles of our founding ideology. Whether it is in fancy right now, whether it is not in fancy, we are sticking to our ideology, and we will find our path. It is about winning the perception of the people. And in
After a
Delhi's
very long
case,
time, I heard wealth redistribution again after the
yeah,
general elections.
yes. And in the case of Delhi, we need not have to explain to anyone about what Congress has done to Delhi. Everybody knows that, and everybody has tested the other parties as well. And we have the results in front of us. Maybe because of some trends, and as Manu said, the rhetoric. The rhetoric, has been done by the BJP. Narendra Modi also. You look, what he said about the black money. You look at what he said about the the Indian currency. Look what he said about the fuel prices. Where are we on all these things right now? These are just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many other rhetorics which has been made by him. Lies after lies, lies after lies, lies after lies. Nothing has materialized.
Abhijit, you want to
And,
come in
and
there? Because, as far as, as far as the Congress is concerned, the fact is that there is a narrative that the voters have believed in, and that narrative clearly is the narrative that the BJP is making, given the numbers. So it can't just be a narrative, right? He's delivered on a lot of things, which is why there is a trust among the people.
Look, I think the story everywhere is when you give people something, they're very grateful for it for a few years. And after that, the issue becomes what next? You're not going to keep winning elections based on what you delivered 5 years back or 10 years back, right? Number one. Number two, it is consistent service that keeps getting you votes. I remember when Sheila Dikshit was the chief minister, and I honestly tell you this without the slightest hint of irony, Sheila Dikshit was probably the best chief minister Delhi ever had. The roads used to be neat and clean, the roads were actually built up. You didn't have huge gaping potholes, the water used to come. Sure, there was that one big knockdown of the electricity, but that wasn't really a under her thing. You now have roads that are left to complete disrepair. There is no central authority coordinating the work between the water laying guys, the electricity walas, and things like that. The road outside my own house has been dug up 3 times, and it's just stopped existing because different the nali walas came and dug it up once, the water walas came and dug it up once, then the electricity walas came and dug it up once. You can't manage a city like this. He's got all these global ambitions of God knows what. But when you can't even run a city properly, do deliver the basics properly, sure, you can keep giving people freebies. But remember, even in those freebies, those 2,100 rupees, in those 3, 4 podcasts that he did before the election,
Yeah.
he was asked repeatedly by all of them, what happened to those 2,100 rupees everybody was meant to get? And he said, is baar de denge. Well, where is it?
That trust,
So I'm
there's
sorry, he
trust.
did
Yeah.
not deliver. He did not deliver, and his promises were stale. I think he's now got a reputation of a person who keeps promising, doesn't deliver, and great a lot of gratitude for what he has delivered, but you're not delivering what we need anymore.
Is it the beginning of the end of brand Kejriwal as we knew it? He may reinvent himself going forward.
I think it's the beginning of the end because remember, the way the Congress crushed him in Punjab in the general elections, there is a very serious danger that these guys are going to repeat that performance in the state elections. Number one. In Delhi, it seems like Kejriwal is trailing his seat. That trend has held. Unlike, say, Okhla, where Amanatullah Khan reversed the initial trail to a lead,
Yeah.
Arvind Kejriwal has been trailing since
The beginning.
we,
Yeah.
we started seeing the trend come up. And now the EVMs are in full play, right? May he scrape through? Possibly. But imagine both him, his previous Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia, and his current Deputy Chief Minister and now Chief Minister Atishi are all trailing. I don't think he's going to come back from this very convincingly. Maybe as a protest vote. That said, can I just make this point? I don't think this is a anti-AAP wave. I think this is basic AAP lethargy almost. The BJP voters have come out because they believe in something. The AAP voters haven't come out because they're like, "Sab changa si, sab chal raha hai."
Okay. You don't think it's an anti AAP vote? You think it's a pro BJP vote from their respective voters?
But not just pro BJP, but also AAP. I won't say antipathy, but I'd say AAP fatigue. Let's call it an AAP fatigue vote.
So do you think there's a fatigue factor or sab changa si factor? Very different things.
A bit of both. Both sub changasi. Well, the AAP's attitude is sub changasi. The voters' attitude is bhai sab changa nahi si, and they're just not willing
Sutunu,
to come out and vote.
Sutunu, you want to come in on that? What's your sense of?
Yeah, I think some of you guys had mischievous smiles on fifth evening when I said that when on the 8th of February we sit down, we will be talking about Baiju's Ramchandran and Arvind Kejriwal.
Yes, you
Hugely
did.
successful startups of the previous decade. Look what's happened to Baiju's. Nobody is saying that Baiju's cannot recover. He's an entrepreneur. Maybe he'll recover. Maybe he'll set up a new business. Maybe, who knows? Ditto with Kejriwal, but I think it will be a very very uphill battle because remember the primary forget Delhi in the rest of the country the primary vote share target for AAP has been the Congress vote share, and Congress is incredibly strong in Punjab, in Karnataka, in many parts of India, and I don't see a Congress supporter traditional switching to AAP in the future in any state
In any state, जितना हो
It
गया
was a
उतना हो
fluke.
गया
It
था.
was a fluke. It was a fluke in Gujarat. 13% vote share for AAP, but I think it was a one time show. That's it.
Mr. Anthony, do you want to sort of weigh in there? Do you see any more of Congress voters which have traditionally moved away to AAP moving away or to other parties?
See, the origin of Aam Aadmi Party was anti-Congress when it
Yeah.
happened. There's no political ideology which was there for AAP, even now also. They carried a bit of the BJP's narrative on Hindutva, and they carried the anti-Congress agenda to them. They don't have anything of themselves. Whereas, we are a national party and we have been there prior to the independence, and we have seen the ups and downs of the elections, but we have been consistently serving the people, and we have fundamentally, we have an ideology where we are focused on to, and we believe in, we swear into that. Whereas an AAP's existence is only for an electoral existence, and which is why they are facing it, because they promised the world and they couldn't deliver. Whereas, when we face electional defeats, it can be a defeat on our governance, it can be a defeat on our approaches, but it is not an electoral defeat.
Sorry.
When we face defeats, we have to reorganize ourselves. We need to reach out. We need to shape up our communications. We need to have our outreach to the voters.
Sorry.
Yeah.
When you
But whereas, for AAP, what is the political ideology for them? There is no political ideology for them. So for any Congress worker, fundamentally for us, we are not worried about the political ideology which we have
why
sweared
are
in.
you not able to snatch back the voters from AAP then in Delhi, let's say, for instance? If these numbers hold, you're not getting back your vote, your entire vote share. You're getting back some.
Aditi, if I had that answer, then or the Congress party had that answer,
Absolutely.
yeah, we would not have been in but however we are in this number, we have made for us, we have made significant improvement in our vote shares. Let's see, by the end of the day we will get to know what exactly it is from last time. However, there is definitely a room for improvement, because I don't have to kind of move around with words on that one. We definitely have an improvement because we have the credentials to claim for a governance in Delhi more than anybody else.
So okay, what is the vote share that you're looking at? It was around 4.2% or 4.3% last time.
Aditi, this is not a cricket match. People have already made their votes. We just wait for the end of the day, and then we'll get to see the numbers.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, got it. I was just trying to understand from you what is the Congress party hoping for. That's the what had you hoped for? Are you seeing that hope translating into the numbers? I'm sure there must have been meetings, conversations about the Delhi elections. Rahul Gandhi was very resurgent. There was a talk about a resurgence in the Congress party. Sandeep Dixit talked about it. Why do you feel that these numbers do justice to those expectations? That's what I wanted to understand.
See, that's a very pointed question, which, as a spokesperson, I would like to not to answer it, because that's an internal discussion. Because from our election campaign perspective, you have seen from our top leaders, from our Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge ji to our leader of opposition Rahul Gandhi to Sandeep Dikshit, we have made our intentions very clear. We have made our approach on the campaign very clear. So there is no doubt to that one. However, with respect to our performances, that's an internal discussion. I would leave the party to kind of decide on that one, discuss on that one. Then we will kind of come out at the appropriate time with an answer for that question.
Okay. All right. Sutanu, I just want to just shift tack a little bit and talk about the three doyens of Aam Aadmi Party trailing. And if you can just give us a sense, if you have access to those numbers, because we'd like to know how much are they trailing by, if there are any numbers that you have with you. And Sutunu's frozen, I think. Let's just get Sutunu correct. Abhijit, let me just come to you. In terms of Okhla, in terms of Mustafabad, the presence of AIMIM, and whether Owaisi, as the Congress is alleged, is played as a B team for the BJP.
Look, Owaisi is the B team of the BJP. Let's be very clear about this. This fellow had no footprint outside of Hyderabad. Okay. Suddenly, where there has been, in his constituency in Hyderabad, there has been no spurt in commercial activity or demographics for him to suddenly have manpower to be contesting everywhere. Where does the money come from? I don't know. Nobody seems to know. There has been no major economic development. Not like Oracle and Microsoft set up offices at his constituency in Hyderabad that he's now getting money from them, right? So
Correct.
he's very clearly the B team of the BJP. In some places, he succeeds. In some places, like in Bengal, he failed quite spectacularly. Right? They were counting on him to split the vote in Bengal. He failed quite spectacularly. And in Delhi, I don't know. The initial reports were he was going to do massive damage in Okhla, but clearly not enough damage that to get Amanatullah Khan down. Maybe there
Correct.
was a sort of a polarization in favor of Amanatullah Khan, precisely because of all the trouble he's in at the moment with the law. Who knows? Mustafabad, I don't know much about because I didn't get into it in much detail when I
That's
was
the
talking to BJP.
2020 riots area.
Right. But if you look at Trans Yamuna Delhi,
Yeah.
where Seelampur and all those places are, if you notice, it was the only part when, after the hung assembly, which failed to produce a chief minister in 2014, and then you had the 2015 elections, it was the only part of Delhi that stayed with the BJP. Clearly, there is massive polarization out there. And what happens out there is, because you have a Muslim polarization in one region of Trans Yamuna Delhi, you also have a Hindu polarization in the other regions of Trans Yamuna Delhi. Uh, they have stayed with the BJP consistently. If you look at the electoral maps of 2015, 2020, and I suspect now 2025 as well, that is a very, very consistent trend out there. Seelampur and areas are complete ghettos. I don't think the majority, the Muslim majorities there are so high. I don't think you can reasonably be expected to split the vote. But the polarization you see between the Hindu parts out there and the Muslim parts out there is particularly stark. And the loyalty, even during a wipeout of the BJP in the rest of Delhi, the loyalty of those particular parts to the BJP to tell you exactly how polarized Trans Yamuna Delhi is.
Right. Right. And I just got the numbers here on my thing. I just pulled that up because I was very interested in knowing how much is the trailing. So Sandeep Dikshit is also trailing from the New Delhi constituency, but Kejriwal is trailing. He's got right now 6853 votes. Uh, Parvesh Verma, who's leading from that seat, the BJP candidate, son of Sahib Singh Verma, 8290 seats. And Sandeep Dixit, of course, is the last there, the Congress Sheila Dixit's son, 3687 votes. So almost the difference between Kejriwal and Parvesh Verma is almost about literally 1000 some votes, not too much the difference. You know, again, but what's your I just want to, I'm getting a bite coming in of the Delhi BJP president Virender Sachdeva. Let's listen into what he's saying, and then we'll come back for a response on that.
जो रुझान है वो हमारी आशा के अनुरूप हैं, लेकिन परिणाम आने की हम प्रतीक्षा करेंगे। मुझे बार बार इस बात को कहने में कोई संकोच नहीं है कि दिल्ली में हमारे कार्यकर्ताओं ने बहुत जुनून और शिद्दत के साथ काम किया है और जनता ने भी भरपूर आशीर्वाद दिया है। जनता को भ्रष्टाचार और विकास का मॉडल चुनना था, तो उन्होंने प्रधानमंत्री श्रीमान नरेंद्र मोदी के नेतृत्व को सलाम किया है और ये जीत हमारे राष्ट्रीय नेतृत्व की, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री के काम की जीत है होगी, जो मुझे ऐसा लगता है। निस्संदेह हम दिल्ली में डबल इंजन की सरकार बनाएंगे।
सर, जितने बड़े नेता आम आदमी पार्टी के वो चुनाव हारते हुए नजर आ रहे हैं। केजरीवाल भी पीछे हैं, मनीष सिसोदिया भी पीछे हैं, आतिशी भी पीछे चल रही है।
देखिए, हम सुबह से एक बात कह रहे हैं कि हमने दिल्ली का चुनाव दिल्ली के मुद्दों पर लड़ा है। हम अरविंद केजरीवाल से बार बार भ्रष्टाचार की बात पूछते थे, शीश महल की बात पूछते थे, शराब घोटाले की बात पूछते थे, टूटी हुई सड़कों की बात करते थे, सीवेज के ओवरफ्लो की बात करते थे, गंदगी की बात करते थे, गंदे पानी की बात करते थे, लेकिन अरविंद केजरीवाल इन मुद्दों से भागते थे। वो इस चुनाव को लुभाने की और वादों पे, झूठे वादों पे लाने की कोशिश कर रहे थे। दिल्ली की जनता ने दिल्ली के दर्द को समझा है और उस दर्द का जो निवारण है वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी कर सकती है। इस उम्मीद के साथ उन्होंने माननीय प्रधानमंत्री को वोट दिया।
सीएम फेस कौन होगा?
देखिए, हमारे लिए ये विषय गौण है। हम पहले भी कह चुके हैं, भारतीय जनता पार्टी का कार्यकर्ता मुख्यमंत्री बनेगा, केंद्रीय नेतृत्व तय करेगा इसको। ये जो रुझान है वो हमारी आशा के अनुरूप हैं, लेकिन परिणाम आने की हम प्रतीक्षा करेंगे। मुझे बार बार इस बात को कहने में कोई संकोच नहीं है कि दिल्ली में हमारे कार्यकर्ताओं ने बहुत जुनून और शिद्दत के साथ काम किया है और जनता ने भी भरपूर आशीर्वाद दिया है। जनता को भ्रष्टाचार था, तो उन्होंने प्रधानमंत्री श्रीमान नरेंद्र मोदी के नेतृत्व को सलाम किया है और ये जीत हमारे राष्ट्रीय नेतृत्व, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री के काम की जीत है होगी, जो मुझे ऐसा लगता है।
Okay. All right. Okay, that's it. And sorry, we were also ushering in our new guests. Aarti Jairaj joins us. Aarti, welcome to the show. And we also have Dr. S.K. Datta with us. He's a political analyst. He's with me in the studio here.
Yeah.
So Aarti, thanks for coming in. Thanks for taking out the time. You're seeing the numbers on your screen. Till a while ago, BJP was hovering over 50, and there was a lot of excitement. And I said that this is going to rationalize a little bit. It can't be. It maybe 50 is on the higher side, but in any case, if it was 50, it's anyway on the higher side. But 41, that's way past the majority mark. That's, they have the majority. If these numbers hold, what do you have to say about the numbers that you see on your screen?
Aditi, I mean, obviously the BJP seems to be in the lead at the moment, but the numbers are going forth.
Audio is an issue for me. I can't hear. I can hear very faintly.
So what do I do?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, maybe I need to come closer to the laptop.
Yeah.
So I was saying that the numbers are going back and forth. At one point, Arvind Kejriwal was trailing. Now he's leading. At one point, Satyendra Jain was trailing. Now he's leading. At one point, Manish Sisodia was trailing. Now he's leading. So, I mean, maybe it is a little too early to call the election or to, draw conclusions from the numbers, because they really seem to be going back and forth. And obviously, it's a very closely contested election.
Yeah.
It's not like one party is running away with all the votes and is going to end up with a huge vote share, like say Aam Aadmi Party did in the last two elections, where they got over 50% of votes. This seems to be a much more closely contested election. So, but yes, I mean, it was very evident, even from the chatter on the streets as you talk to people, that there was definitely a disenchantment with Aam Aadmi Party. People were, kind of really disillusioned. Not so much anger, but disillusionment and disenchantment with Aam Aadmi Party that they had. They were very good in the first term, but in the second term, somehow they seemed to lose their way. And, obviously the only option in Delhi for people was to vote for the BJP. The Congress, the Congress just didn't seem to exist in Delhi. And so if you are disenchanted with Aam Aadmi Party, you would naturally vote for the BJP. So if these numbers hold, whatever, whether it's 50 or 40, if the BJP forms a government, it's a huge comeback for them in Delhi, right? Because they have not had a government here since 1993. So it's a huge comeback, and it kind of really cements their hold, in North India, because Delhi was that one little state that kind of held out,
Evaded them, yeah.
that's right. That one little island, which the BJP was unable to capture. It had UP, it had Rajasthan, it had Madhya Pradesh, it had Haryana, but Delhi somehow it was not able to capture. So now they would have consolidated themselves, across North India, and after the 2024 Lok Sabha polls, this is a big comeback for the BJP, winning its third consecutive assembly election.
Right. In fact, I want to bring in Mr. Datta also on that note. The BJP seems to be well on its way past the majority mark if these numbers hold. The Aam Aadmi Party, however, down but not out. It's not, they're not, I mean, I remember we spoke and there was some conversation in our last show about decimation of Aam Aadmi Party, that there's no more that the party no longer has that sheen, the brand is destroyed. Clearly that not being the case.
Aditi, I would say that in my understanding, the final figure, once all the results are declared, Bharatiya Janata Party should be somewhere between 45 to 50 seats. And that itself is a huge, huge landslide victory for the Bharatiya Janata Party. Even, see, right now itself it's 44 in your screen. So it is going to be a seesaw battle in couple of seats for the next 1 to 1.5 hours or so. But what I understand is like the ultimate, the ultimate number for BJP would be somewhere between 45 to 50. That itself is a huge landslide victory. I was looking into the vote share. The Bharatiya Janata Party is polling a vote share of somewhere around 51 to 52%. So that is massive, in terms of vote share also. So what I understand is like it's a clear-cut mandate against the government, which was rampant with policy paralysis, corruption, misgovernance, and bunch of lies. In fact, Arvind Kejriwal has become such a famous politician in terms of lying. I would call him a half-an-hour liar, because he keeps on lying every half an hour. What he says half an hour before, he changes that another half an hour. Again, he changes that another half an hour. In the last so many years, people in Delhi had voted him with a lot of expectation. He came with that anti-corruption plank, and what did he do in reality? Like from Sheesh Mahal to Liquor Gate to education scam to Mohalla clinic scam. Name any scam, it's a plethora of scams after scams after scams, which he has given as a reward in play to the voters of Delhi. This is something which Delhi voters never wanted, Delhi voters wanted a change. He came with the corruption issue. He always used to say that the Commonwealth scam is, the report of the Commonwealth scam is in his pocket, and he is going to, take out the report the moment he wins election within 24 hours. Until date, no one has actually seen that actual report which he always used to claim about Sheila Dikshit government, that the scam report is in his pocket as such. So these are the issues for which there is a landslide.
And Mr. Anthony also wants to come in, but let me go one by one. Mr. Aarti, would you go first?
Yeah, what is the question?
Okay, his thing about Arvind Kejriwal not really delivering on the imagery that he had developed on the image, on the we are a different party with a different image.
Yeah.
That has taken a
Okay. Yeah.
huge dent for Arvind Kejriwal, and he talked about the Commonwealth Games scam. Ki we will come out. He said that as soon
The
as he's
white paper
elected,
that he
he
had
will put out
promised.
the thing,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's not happened. But in my understanding, the people in this election, particularly, corruption was not an issue. The scams that Kejriwal did just brought Kejriwal back to the same sort of level playing field like other political parties. Ki haan, theek hai. It's no longer a party with a difference. The real issue, however, the biggest issue for these elections were the civic issues and unemployment. This is according to at least one C-voter tracker data that I was privy to, I had time to study. What's your sense?
No, absolutely, Aditi. Listen, I mean, I've covered politics for more than 40 years now, covered so many elections. And corruption has never really been a big issue for the Aam Aadmi, all right? Yes, maybe for the upper classes, for the middle classes, it is an issue, but not for Aam Aadmi. We've seen really, I mean, Jaya Lalita was indicted, she was put in prison for corruption, and yet she came back to power and dominated Tamil Nadu politics. So, corruption has never really been that kind of an issue for voters. But I think what did really affect voters, there's no question about it, is that the first 5 years of and I will draw a difference between the first 5 years and the next 5 years. The first 5 years, they really delivered on a lot of things. I mean, not only the freebies of free electricity and water, but also on a new governance model of actually improving healthcare, providing basic healthcare to the poor, and improving the government school education infrastructure. Because, people were talking about it, that they are so happy that they would prefer to
Manish
send their
Sisodia,
kids to a
sorry,
government
Aarti,
school.
just cutting you in. Manish Sisodia is speaking. Let's just cut across and listen.
गुड गवर्नेंस के लिए, काम की राजनीति के लिए, ईमानदारी की राजनीति के लिए वोट किया है और पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार आज बनने जा रही है।
कल से जिस तरह के घटनाक्रम हुए हैं, काफी विवाद चला है, उसके बाद
वो देखिए, एसीबी को नाम दिया उन्होंने, वहां तो पहुंचे नहीं। एसीबी को जो जानकारी दी संजय भाई ने, उसके बाद तो एसीबी वाले सो गए। उससे पहले अरविंद जी के घर आ गए, तो सबको पता है कि उसका पॉलिटिकल मोटिव क्या है। पर वो सब छोड़िए, अब जनता ने अपना वर्डिक्ट दे दिया है और वो अब से कुछ घंटे बाद आ जाएगा और हमें पूरा भरोसा है कि दिल्ली में आम आदमी पार्टी की सरकार दोबारा बनने जा रही है। नंबर थोड़ी देर में आप ही लोग जनता को बता देना टीवी से। थैंक यू।
ओके, पूर्ण बहुमत की सरकार आज बनने जा रही है। समथिंग दैट they're still talking about. Are we playing Atishi's Bite next? Can't you?
कुछ तो बोल के जाइए।
All right, that was Manish Sisodia talking about Purn Bahummat की सरकार आने वाली है. However, numbers are not looking like Purn Bahummat right now, but definitely Manish Sisodia is saying numbers will change. Okay, Manish Sisodia said, because I couldn't hear him correctly, he said numbers will change. And now Manish Sisodia, I believe, is also leading. Arvind Kejriwal is also leading. Let me bring in the new guests who've joined us right now, and I welcome Sandeep Ghosh. Sandeep, thank you for joining us. And Dhananjay Joshi, a psephologist. And what's your sense? I know, and Mr. Anthony, you wanted to come in.
I have to leave.
Yeah. So then let me quickly get your rebuttal. I think you wanted to say something on what Dr. S.K. Datta said.
Yeah. So I just want to wind up this debate with the small reply that Arvind Kejriwal in 2015 got inspiration from the largest liar, the biggest liar of this political liar of this country, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. 6 major lies. There are so many, but I'll just apply the 6 major lies. One is the 15 lakhs black money refund, the 50 days COVID removal, the 50 days of revival in the demonetization, then Indian rupees to 50 rupees against a dollar, the fuel price to 50 rupees against the current ongoing prices, and the cooking gas prices. All these were blatant lies played on it, and we don't have a recovery apart from escalating prices. And the Prime Minister keeps on lying again and again and again and again. So Kejriwal has took, the inspiration from the Prime Minister. That's exactly what I have to say. And that's all. I'm winding up my debate from this because I have to leave another one. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you so much. Dr. Datta wants to come in here, so just listen to him before you go. Okay, no, he's gone.
Who is talking about whom as a perpetual liar? I wish he was there in the debate. I would have given him a strong rebuttal.
That's
If
okay.
it's a liar, then it's Mr. Rahul Gandhi. He is a perpetual liar, lying from morning to evening. If it's a liar, perpetual liar, then it's Arvind Kejriwal, lying from morning till evening. And if they have so much of acrimony against the Honorable Prime Minister, it's understood that their acrimony is because of huge political biases. People of our country, the people out here in India, they do not buy this kind of rudimentary arguments which comes out from the, just from the shelf of Rahul Gandhi and from the WhatsApp factory of the All India Congress Party. And they keep on harping this. They have been shouting from day one, from 2014 till date. But unfortunately for them, this is the third term of the Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. And after the third term itself, this is the third victory which BJP is forging ahead in Delhi after landslide victory in Haryana as well as in Maharashtra. Where is Congress in Haryana and where is Congress in Maharashtra?
We don't argue that the popularity of Prime Minister Narendra Modi remains high, but I just want to bring in, let's just shift focus back to Delhi. Let me bring in Sandeep Ghosh. Sandeep, the numbers on your screen. Till a while ago, BJP was touching 50, AAP was touching 20. Now, there are shifts. BJP is at 41, AAP is at 29, almost touching 30. The halfway mark, obviously, is 36. How do you see this playing out?
On the numbers, Aditi, I have always
You need to
maintained.
unmute yourself, Sandeep.
I have unmuted.
He's unmuted.
Yeah, hello.
Yeah,
We can
I
hear
hear
you.
you. I hear you.
Yeah. On the numbers, Aditi, I've always maintained it will be a slide, but not a landslide. And that seems to be borne out. And unless there are huge upsets, I think BJP will still lead, get the majority mark, and form the government. It'll be very surprised if there is a total turn like what had happened in Bihar some years ago. Now, I'd like to, continue from where Aarti spoke, and all of you. You said, certainly corruption, as we say, is not an issue for the Aam Aadmi. Except, I would differ, Aarti. I'd say sometimes it's a first-time promise, people tend to believe it. And you'll see it in many places. But then after the first term, what tends to happen, things normalize. But people do form a core constituency. So when you refer to Jayalalitha had a very core constituency of the who were fans of Amma, and you can see that in other states. I don't want to name politicians. Every politician develop a core constituency who stand by them. I think Arvind Kejriwal lost that constituency due to his disingenuity. I don't believe, these arrests and all these liquor scam talk, everything had really dented his image as much as the loss of credibility with his own crowd, who started seeing him as a bit of a charlatan. And this became a question of that famous Abraham Lincoln quote that you can't fool all the land. I
Right.
think that has caught up with him in this election. That's how I see. But we will discuss, obviously we'll discuss Delhi, Aditi, but at some stage, I think the implications of this election, much more than Delhi politics.
Absolutely. We've talked about it. We will obviously continue to talk about it. But just
both, I
to
will add,
stay...
not only national politics, but how AAP will unravel after this.
Absolutely, because my question really was that is this the beginning of the end for Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal's brand of politics as we know it? But let me just bring in my my guest here from, sorry, Dhananjay Joshi, your sense, how is this? Sorry, it's just been a very harrowing morning for me. I just developed a very bad chest congestion this morning. And I've been coughing, my voice is gone, but I'm trying very hard to stay focused here. But Dhananjay, your sense as to how these numbers, do you think these are the numbers that will hold? If that is the case, then BJP is well past the majority mark. Clearly, after 3 decades, there is a BJP government coming in Delhi, which is a huge achievement for Delhi because they had this almost 27-year drought that they were calling in Delhi.
Well, yeah, it's a good day for the BJP and coming back after nearly 3 decades. And I think these numbers are going to hold up. Now, a complete reversal is something which is very unlikely. Though there are few seats which are still in the range of 100, 200 votes, but they are going to go on both sides. So I think the numbers are going to be somewhere in the 30s for both parties, with the BJP having a clear lead and a majority. It's unlikely that this is going to
Interesting,
go anywhere.
interesting that Arvind Kejriwal, who was trailing for the longest time from beginning till now, is now in the
Right in the
lead.
morning.
Yeah, is now in the lead. So at least that. I don't know what is the status of Atishi and Somnath Bharti. Somnath Bharti continues to trail, as you see in your screen. And Atishi, last we heard, had sort of was going neck to neck,
Even Manish
and
Sisodia was trailing in the morning.
yes, but now Manish Sisodia has also formed a lead. So at least that
Right.
we don't know how much that lead is by, but we'll obviously.
So it's not a landslide sweep for the BJP the way 2013 elections was a rout for the Congress. So Sheila Dikshit lost her own constituencies, all ministers lost. It's not something like that, but of course it was a close contest all through the campaign, and not an easy election to predict as well. But as we are seeing that BJP has a clear lead, and I think this momentum built up through the campaign, and the BJP has finally going to surge into a majority.
Okay, the implications for the Congress party made a very valiant effort. The Congress continued to attack the Aam Aadmi Party, did refuse to attack the BJP in this election. Aarti Jairat, your sense, despite that, Congress, obviously the effort was to grab back some of the vote share that the AAP had snatched from the Congress party for almost now 12 years ago. But clearly,
Well,
it's
there's a tweet by Omar Abdullah this morning saying
yeah.
all lado aapas mein. So I think,
I know,
you
yeah.
know,
I know. I
yeah,
mean, can
you
you
remember?
repeat
I
that?
think
There
that
is
says
the
it all, really.
that says it all. That says it all. And
Yeah,
Omar Abdullah, he's also in a LG sort of controlled union territory, but he's functioning
yeah,
absolutely fine. There are no theatrics
that's right.
there on a daily
Yeah.
basis, unlike in
No,
Delhi.
no. In fact, he has tried to maintain a very civil relationship with the center. But
Yeah.
Arvind Kejriwal's style of politics is confrontational. It has always been. I mean, right from the beginning, from the time he was part of that whole anti-corruption movement, his style of politics is confrontational. So I mean, that's in his DNA. He can't help it. I think Omar Abdullah is a much more seasoned and kind of mature politician that way. But probably that's what Delhi people liked, and that's why they took to Arvind Kejriwal, because the kind of majorities he won, for such a new party in 2015, 2020, 60 plus seats is incredible. So obviously that confrontational style really appealed to people. But
Right.
somewhere along the way, in the last 5 years, that confrontational style began to wear thin. And I think, people just wanted this to stop, this constant bickering about water with the Haryana, this constant bickering with the LG about, every scheme that, was not going through, this constant fight over everything. In fact, the last 3, 4 months with Atishi as chief minister have actually been much more peaceful
Yeah,
because
you
although
yeah, there
she
were no
belongs
daily theatrics, yeah.
No daily theatrics, absolutely. I think, it was beginning to fall on people in Delhi. I mean, they wanted, like, you want to be
Okay, I just want to also.
while being confrontational, but this time they were being confrontational without delivering. So, I mean, I think ultimately there was a disenchantment. What happens to Aam Aadmi Party in future? I would say number one depends on how many numbers they actually finally get. Whether they're closer to
Yeah,
35 or
it's
whether they're
looking.
completely. I
Yeah,
know
it's
they're kind
looking
of picking
better
up, right?
now. It's now
Yeah,
at least inched up from
yeah.
29 to 30. So the
Yeah,
magical number.
but
Oh, and
remember,
now it's
Aam Aadmi
32.
Party,
Now
Aam
it's
Aadmi
32.
Party. That's right. So really, Aditi, this is the ding dong battle. I mean, I think that we maybe need to be a little careful before we jump to conclusions
Yes.
about what's happening, because suddenly the picture just keeps has suddenly changed. So who
Has
knows?
absolutely, it suddenly changed. Who knows what will happen in the next half an hour?
Yeah.
And let me at that point bring in Dhananjay. Dhananjay, as a psephologist, and I know that uh, you've been tracking Delhi for the longest time, etc. But as a psephologist, I just want to understand from you these seesaws, these numbers, wherever they freeze, wherever what happens. But in terms of um, the political landscape,
Right.
uh, we don't know what's going to happen to Delhi. But we do know that India Alliance is no longer India Alliance. It's
Well,
dead.
yeah, no, as far as Delhi is concerned, like we
No,
have
but you
an
can't be
election in
fighting.
Uttar Pradesh.
Yeah, but you can't be fighting. That is a question that I put earlier, and that
Hmm.
is what Aarti is also saying. Or lado aapas mein. Why?
Hmm.
I mean, the whole idea about the India Alliance was that that each party will be allowed to, or will be supported in the state or in the area where it has strength. For Delhi, for the Aam Aadmi Party, Delhi is the place of strength. So why not let them function? And the Congress did not attack the BJP. They only attacked the Aam Aadmi Party and Arvind Kejriwal. Now the same attacks, the vitriol that they spewed against each other in UP next door, you think things will change?
Well, I think, for instance, in UP next door, uh, the Samajwadi Party and the Congress would, in all probability, though it's still 2 years from now, are going to sail through the alliance. Next comes Bihar. Again, I think the alliance would work. Whether they win or not is a
Is a
question,
different matter,
but
yeah.
they will at least contest
Yeah,
together.
because yeah.
But the Aam Aadmi Party, the Delhi unit and the Punjab unit of the Congress Party, both have young state presidents, and they have a strong opinion that the Aam Aadmi Party has basically snatched away the Congress's votes. And before it establishes itself very well in these states, it's better to contest them and get some of this vote back. In fact, the Delhi unit has been very clear, though they haven't spelled it out. They would prefer the BJP to the Aam Aadmi Party because at least there is, if the Aam Aadmi Party goes down, the Congress's votes are going to go up, and let's see what happens in this election. But this biggest swing, if there is a swing of 13, 14 points against the Aam Aadmi Party, I'm sure the Congress will also get a gain of 2 3% at least. And from going from 4 to 7, it's nearly double, but I know it doesn't count much because it won't convert to seats. So that's something that the Congress has been very clear about. And this is a historic trend. In 91, for the first time, the Congress allied with the BSP in Uttar Pradesh. They could never revive after that. So this has been a trend, and now they are really scared of Aam Aadmi Party because at the face of it, it is the same centrist kind of politics that Arvind Kejriwal also talks
But the
about.
same, but the
With,
same will hold true, Dhananjay, when there are elections in Kerala, or there are elections in West Bengal.
so
Congress
in
will want
Kerala,
to
so
fight it out with the left in Kerala, and with Mamata Banerjee
that's
in
what
West
happened in
Bengal.
the that's what happened in the Lok Sabha. and they did
Right.
ally with the
I'm
Aam
talking about
Aadmi
state
Party in
elections.
Punjab and got a lot of
Exactly. So
yeah.
that is, I am talking
So
about the
this is the
future of this
nature of this is
alliance.
the nature. So this is the nature of coalition politics, and especially with parties of a similar type of a ideological base, or let's say parties
Okay.
which are opposing the BJP.
Okay. Sandeep, do you agree?
There are 2 points I would say. First of all, on Arvind Kejriwal, my feeling is that both Congress and BJP certainly was always, Congress has figured out here he's fairly dangerous for them. The level of trust, as a national politician, people lost their trust. And I'm not too sure how much trust factor he has also with the other India alliance partners. And that's why Congress, if you hear some of the statements of Congress leaders, including like Pawan Khera and others before these elections, they're saying that we have to ensure that Kejriwal loses at any cost because he is the most dangerous person, blah blah. So I think that has become an issue because people think he can be a backstabber. People, there are level of thing is that is totally gone. Now, as far as Congress is concerned, if like Arvind Kejriwal really gets decimated or at least temporarily decimated or whatever here, it's a very interesting, I think, I'm no cephalogist, so I can't say. Congress is a thing, as they say, itna bhi paas mat aao. There was a song or itna bhi dur mat jao. Because one thing has been proven, if Congress you're not aligned, they can be a vote katua party. In, in Delhi, I wouldn't call them a katua party, I will call them the nota party. People who didn't want to vote for BJP and didn't want to vote for AAP, they have gone and voted for Congress.
Got it.
Now, Congress as an alliance partner can be a liability, as we have seen in many places. Bihar, in particular, normal course, I don't think an RJD would have liked to take Congress along because they would have to give away seats to them, which they might think.
They might lose.
But that would they would think that those are seats we're just giving away for nothing. What is Congress bringing to the table? But at the same time, if they don't take them along, and if Congress manages to cut some of their votes, that could be a bigger loss for them. So those are maybe some of the issues. I don't see that happening in UP though, because I think Akhilesh Yadav has learned he is not going to give away seats to Congress in the same manner. Mamta Banerjee certainly won't. But so there will be these little pockets wherever it is. Congress can take, some solace from the fact that their vote share has gone up in Delhi. So if Aam Aadmi Party, that's a separate discussion we can have. If there is no revival of Aam Aadmi Party in whatever form or a third force in Delhi, then Congress can come back as being the second force in Delhi as the alternative to BJP in various, and that could, in some ways, also make a small, start for Congress right from the capital.
Look, but
Right,
if the numbers that I see on the screen hold, and again now you see BJP establishing those leads and up coming slightly down. But having said that, even after that, the it doesn't look as though people of Delhi have rejected up. It's not a
right.
blanket rejection of Aam Aadmi Party.
That's
It's
I
not a
agree
sweep.
with you on.
Yeah.
Just 1 minute. I agree with you on that. I think it's more a rejection of Arvind Kejriwal. That's my reading, and I think AAP as an idea was a good idea, which many of us who are sort of more centrist, some may be a little left of center, right of center, but not an extreme position. We all thought AAP was an alternative
Right,
which was emerging as a political alternative. So to that extent, that's why I'm saying we need to see if Arvind Kejriwal loses or what, whether there'll be some kind of unraveling which will happen in AAP. Aarti, just a second. I see today, if you were to really take an individual poll of the so-called AAP leaders, you might find some of these people actually have increased their credibility level vis-a-vis Arvind Kejriwal earlier. Earlier, it was Arvind Kejriwal there and everybody below. But I think some
right.
people, as we were mentioning, and Atishi, though I'm no fan of hers, but even Sisodia or some other people may have notched up their credibility relatively.
Do you believe that, Aarti? Do you think? And I'll come to the other panelists after that. Sorry, but I want Aarti wanted to say something on this.
Yeah, no, I was saying that, the problem with Aam Aadmi Party is, and I would like to bring in the example of the BSP, which was also a new party, rose suddenly. Mayawati became chief minister with a full majority, the first Dalit party to rule UP. But once the BSP started losing elections, where is the BSP today on the political landscape? You don't see it anymore. It's not an old established party. The Congress is taking a long time to die because it's a very old established party with deep roots. The roots are slowly decaying, but there are still some roots. The thing with Aam Aadmi Party is that without power, I really don't see the Aam Aadmi Party being able to survive and be an alternative in Delhi.
What will happen to
You
Aam
know,
Aadmi Party in
so either
Punjab?
it means that we will have the BJP ruling for a long time in Delhi, or if the Congress actually shows some spark and starts to revive because that boat of which Aam Aadmi Party took away from it, will come back to it. Then there's a possibility that you'll have a bipolar thing. But Aam Aadmi Party without power, I really don't see it being able to
Right.
survive. I think that it will. I
But
mean,
do you think?
it will
But do you
really
think?
just
Do you
disappear.
think that's a that factor is Arvind Kejriwal, or is that factor of the Aam Aadmi Party as a whole? I know both are
No, it's
synonymous with each
Arvind.
other. I
It is
know.
Arvind,
an entirely one-man run party.
right.
Yeah.
So this is the thing. You see, the BSP, as long as Kanshiram was alive, the BSP was actually a movement, and
Right.
it had this huge support across base, and so therefore, it was developing roots. But the minute Kanshi Ram became infirm and party went to Mayavati and she became chief minister, it became a one-woman party. She just, took over control. And this is what happened. You see, if power is centralized in one leader, and if that leader becomes the only face of the party, then once you lose, then it's very difficult for the party to survive because it doesn't
Okay,
have roots amongst people.
Dhananjay,
Well,
there are obvious.
I would, yeah,
Yes.
I would just want to come in and, in fact, agree with that. Look, Arvind Kejriwal, after winning the first election, started cutting out people who were ideologically involved with him, whether it's Yogendra Yadav, Prashant Bhushan, many other people. So the first step was to actually remove everybody who could have an ideological association with the party, could be alternate leaders, etc., etc. The second point is, and especially talking about the BSP till date has an ideological position. Arvind Kejriwal ensured that the Aam Aadmi Party does not have any ideological position. You can go and say, make a statement, and this is not sheer criticism. It's based on facts. In
Yeah, yeah,
Gujarat,
absolutely.
well, there's
He
the certain yeah, it's not personal. It's just politics. In Gujarat, he can say that you should have Lakshmi Ganesh on notes instead of Gandhi, and that's going to boost the economy. Well, that was a statement that he gave. On the other hand, in Delhi, he was absolutely during the riots, and when he was facing the last election, he was quite neutral about a lot of issues. So Arvind typically doesn't take a position, and if you look at him throughout his career, even before he came into active politics in the NGO sector, etc., he had this track record of having close associates and then taking the next step, taking the next step, and then that now, after becoming chief minister, if you really want to become prime minister, you need leaders, you need chief ministers, you need strong people,
you
and
need a
you
strong
need your
cabinet.
shatraps.
Absolutely moving
Right,
forward.
you need
So
your shatraps.
that
You need
that has not
leaders in
happened. Yeah.
states, and for him, it's yes, man. Basically, if you are loyal to Arvind, then you are in the party. Otherwise, you don't have any space. Now, this can't sustain in
The
politics.
visuals that we see on our screen is of celebrations happening in the BJP offices in the Delhi, and Manoj Tiwari is speaking. Let's just cut across for a moment.
और यही फाइनल टैली होगी ऐसे ही, ऐसा मेरा विश्वास है।
देखिए इस बार मनीष जी ट्रेंड दिखने को मिल रहा है, जैसे पहले 2 बार में दिखा था कि पूरी तरह से एक तरफा दिखा था, लेकिन इस बार जो है बीजेपी की तरफ भी काफी ज्यादा बढ़त है। तो क्या वजह रही है? दिल्ली वालों की नाराजगी है क्या?
देखिए इसमें कोई दो राय नहीं है, दिल्ली का प्रत्येक तबका अब आम आदमी पार्टी से दूर हो गया है, रुझान में वो दिख रहा है, एग्जिट पोल में भी दिख रहा था, और मुझे लगता है कि आज रिजल्ट वैसा ही होगा कि आम आदमी पार्टी ने जिस प्रकार से अकर्मण्यता दिखाई, जैसे उन्होंने जनता को तकलीफ दिया, स्वयं भ्रष्टाचार किया, शीश महल की प्रवृत्ति रही, तो आज जनता उसका रिजल्ट दे रही है, और मुझे पूरा विश्वास लगता है कि अंत तक ऐसे ही रिजल्ट आएगा।
एक और जो चीज देखने को मिल रही है कि अभी तक कांग्रेस का कहीं अकाउंट खुलता हुआ नहीं दिख रहा है इस बार।
नहीं, कांग्रेस अभी किसी तरह मुझे लगता है कि जो मैं वोट शेयर देख रहा हूं, तो लगता है कांग्रेस अपने भविष्य को लेकर के चिंतित दिख रही है, लेकिन खाता खुलने का तो मुझे भी कहीं से अंदेशा नहीं दिख रहा है।
Okay. All right. There, Congress Bhavishya Chintit in Delhi. And that's Manoj Tiwari there. अब मसला होगा सर, चीफ मिनिस्टर कौन बनेगा? Because that is one thing about the BJP. They never have a chief ministerial face. We saw the same thing in Madhya Pradesh. We saw the same thing in Rajasthan. What's up?
Well,
who are the prospective candidates for chief minister?
The Bharatiya Janata Party has a very clear-cut mechanism in relation to the election of the chief minister. What I understand is, like, once the final result is out, I think tomorrow or the after tomorrow, the parliamentary board of the Bharatiya Janata Party will be convening a meeting. In there, the probable candidates would be discussed, and then ultimately, in my understanding, it's going to be the final authority is going to be the Honorable Prime Minister, together with the Home Minister and the National President of the Bharatiya Janata Party, and whoever the final decision is taken, whoever the candidate is or the choice is, that will be, that will be agreeable to each and everyone, to all the elected MLAs. The elected MLAs will give their views and their opinion. So this is how it
Okay, one
works
second.
out.
So you've said the nice things. Now tell me who are the, give me 3 names, possible candidates. Nobody's going to blame you for thinking, okay, this person could be it. No, 3 names.
Well, it's too early to predict the 3 names right now, but there are many stalwart leaders in Delhi BJP, and
Like?
it could be any one of them, out of those the stalwart names which are there. It could, there is Parvesh Verma, then there is, of course, like a Ramesh Biduri, then there are a couple of more names which are there, which are doing rounds, and in my understanding, it's ultimately the decision will be taken by the Honorable Prime Minister together with the National President and the Home Minister, and whichever the PM and the National President takes a call, that person would be the
Varun Singh,
CM.
got it.
I will not be surprised if out of all these names, none of them actually become the CM. It could be someone else also out of the blue.
That's a typically
Modi's
BJP
style,
way to think. To
out
do
of the
Modi's
blue.
way of doing things. You want to come in there, Vivek? Varun Singh.
Hey, to be very honest, I don't see the numbers fluctuating much. Even when we started speaking at 8 o'clock, I had said it that BJP will win. It would be a comfortable win, but it wouldn't be a landslide, and that is what is clear right now. And if you see 12 seats, including Arvind Kejriwal, Rakhi Birla is leading only by 42 votes, and Arvind Kejriwal's 339 has come down to 200. So there are majority of these seats where the numbers are less. The margin is less than 1,000, and in many seats the margin is less than 500. Out of 12, it is only, I think, one seat where BJP is less than 1,000, and rest all belong to the Aam Aadmi Party. And one thing that Sandeep said makes a lot of sense. Is it the time that Arvind Kejriwal needs to hang his boots and give it to someone else? But that will never happen, because because we have seen how Arvind Kejriwal works.
But
And
who else is there? There's nobody who's actually come up like, I mean, there was a Raghav Chadda and a Manish Sisodia, but then
no, absolutely. Atishi did a fantastic job, didn't she? Wasn't Aarti just complimenting her
praising
that
Atishi.
in
Yeah, absolutely.
the last few days, the Delhi government hasn't been seen as someone who's always on the stage doing some theatrics. They
Okay, we
have
need
been
to
doing
find
something.
out if Atishi is leading or trailing. Uh,
She is
the
leading right now.
is leading right now. Okay,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
last
she's
I saw
leading
she
right
was
now.
trailing,
Yeah, yeah,
and then
she's
neck to
leading
neck.
right now. But
Okay, so
it is very clear the numbers wouldn't change much because more than 20-30% votes have been counted. And if you see the trend, when 20-30% votes are counted, the numbers do remain the same for a longer period of time. And Delhi is a small state, to be very honest. We do not expect much fluctuations over here now.
you don't expect
But
But
now
much
it's a
can I
five
say
fluctuations.
point lead.
something here?
Yes,
Can I say
Aarti.
something here? While
Yes, Aarti.
I do think that the BJP is in the lead, let me also point out that Delhi, because it's so small, uh, every EVM you count can change the picture. And we saw this, I remember that historic election, was it in 1991, I think, where LK Advani contested the Lok Sabha election from the New Delhi seat. He was
Okay.
losing, he was trailing till the final round when they opened the boxes from Lajpat Nagar. And suddenly,
Wow.
LK Advani surged ahead
But that's
and
Lok
won that
Sabha.
seat by
Again,
1,500
it
votes.
defies it.
So you see,
And
this is a whole thing that when you're doing, if the contest is a close one, which is what it seems to be, since the margins are only 500,000 and so on. But if the contest is a close one, you really have to wait till the last EVM is counted,
Absolutely, because
unless
as you see
somebody
on your screen,
But
establishes
just
a strong enough lead for it to not change.
now there's a
right.
5 point lead for the BJP. 5 point is quite substantial. This reversing would be unlikely. Can
Yeah,
happen,
but
but
but you
very
see,
unlikely.
even while Aarti was speaking, it slipped from 40 to 38 and up went up from 30 to 32. So
Yeah, but
this
five
back and
percent
forth.
is a big number.
Sorry,
5% is a big 5% is a big number.
what
So
is
in terms of vote
5%?
shares,
The
so
vote
in
share
terms of vote shares, yeah. So there's a 5% lead that the BJP
yes.
has,
has right now
and
in terms of vote share.
as of right now, yeah, and that's election commission data, so that's
Okay,
confirmed. It's not,
confirmed.
yeah.
Okay, so let's see. But in the meanwhile, let's just quickly slip
Yeah.
into a half an hour break, and then let us meet on the other side, because I also need to do something to my throat so that I can speak more coherently for the next couple of hours. Otherwise, it's not going to be possible. I'm so sorry. My throat is acting up, so I'm going to slip into this break, and we'll meet you on the other side. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. and then I'll beat you with those predictions at 12 or 1 whenever the final results come in. If you are to be beaten, if you are to be hailed, then you'll be hailed. You want to go first, Abhijit?
So, I'm going to be very cautious, assume the exact opposite of what I'm saying because I'm renowned as election panotti. So I am predicting a massive win for AAP under the dynamic leadership of Honorable Shri Arvind Kejriwal ji.
Kya baat?
And it will be such a thrashing for the BJP that Modi will resign and Rahul Gandhi will also resign after this election.
Rahul Gandhi will resign from where?
From parliament, from everything.
अच्छा, from
This
parliament,
this
from
will be
everything.
earth-shattering victory for the AAP.
अच्छा, बस ठीक है. इतना but it's just like the hoodie that you're wearing on the show.
Listen, I have to say this, otherwise the BJP will lose.
Okay, done. Manu, you want to go? Or if you want, you can go the exit polls way, or you can go your own way.
No, prefer those, but see, largely, I guess, directionally speaking, Aam Aadmi Party is going to be substantially reduced. They may lose election this time. And
I can't hear.
consequent to that, I guess, there
Manu's
will be
muted.
some question marks around the stability
No,
of
no,
their
we
government
can all
in
hear
Punjab.
him. He's Manu. Abhijit can't hear you. Abhijit will resolve that for you. But Abhijit, Manu is saying that Aam Aadmi Party is going to be substantially reduced, even defeated. Go ahead, Manu.
Yeah, and a consequence, of that would be for the stability of their government in Punjab. So that would be the next domino to watch out for, and it would actually happen in quick succession. So if Aam Aadmi Party fails to make a comeback in Delhi, then I guess they may have some serious challenges getting mounted in Punjab. When it comes to the BJP, I think this will solidify the current central leadership, and it will help establishing the narrative that, well, the Lok Sabha polls were perhaps a blip, and the popularity of the current leadership remains intact. So far as Rahul Gandhi, I would say maybe there are some positives for him in this, that he's been able to hammer away at his pet project of proportional representation,
Okay, we are having some trouble, Manu, with your connection. Varun, would you like to give your prediction? What will happen
more.
come 12 o'clock?
At 12 o'clock, we all would know that who's going to be the chief minister of Delhi, probably. I mean to
Itna
say
आसान.
the party at least, I would
हाँ,
say, not the person, because
okay.
the BJP hasn't yet announced who can be their leader. And unlike Abhijit, I believe that what I say probably comes true. So I'm going to say, stick my neck out, and I think whatever I have read about Delhi and the people in Delhi and the workers on the field from both the sides, whomsoever I have spoken, they have said that it was Kate ki takkar till 5 days ago. Then it turned out to be in favor of BJP. Especially if you see all the exit polls, I want to believe them because that is what was the you know. क्या कहते हैं उसे? That was the feel on the ground also, and I have so many people over there. My sister stays in Delhi, and she used to complain about the pani, sewage, and all those things. So I am hoping that seeing those sentiments on the ground, probably BJP may have a lead. But I don't see 50-60 का जो lead दे रहे हैं BJP को, but it would be a comfortable win for the Bharatiya Janata Party.
A comfortable win for the Bharatiya Janata Party. But the AAP wants its fourth successive term. The BJP is looking to break its 3 decades long drought in the national capital, and the Congress, of course, is seeking to make at least some gains. They're not, I think, in the reckoning at all. But only one of these two wishes is going to come true come 12 o'clock. And as far as right now is concerned, all my panelists are going the exit poll way and saying that that's going to happen, except Abhijit, who wants to be contrarian and therefore is saying what he's
No, no,
saying. Yeah, yeah.
no, no, no.
No, no,
I
no.
am I am agreeing with the other two. I just can't say. So
I
there are
know, I know.
reasons
Who's
for
being
what.
contrarian for his own reasons? That's what I said. Who's being contrarian for his own personal reasons because he does not want the BJP. So,
No, no, Aditi, just one
yeah.
thing. one thing everyone is sure about, that the Congress is going to do very badly. It will have no place in Delhi election even now. That is, I think all of us are
अब
agreeing
मतलब
with.
पिछली 2 बार से बैडली क्या होगा? जीरो
जीरो पे
जीरो
आएंगे.
अभी मतलब -1 तो नहीं हो सकते ना, अब जीरो ही पे रहेंगे, अब बैडली क्या करेंगे? They are what they are. They don't have a presence in Delhi. But what I do here, and Manu, you can correct me if you, at some point we hope to unfreeze Manu from the screen. But Abhijit, your sense about the Congress party. We've heard that there could be some, they've tried and they've given it a good fight. They have taken the entire dharma of the India alliance, put it on one side and said नहीं, हम तो आपके साथ ही लड़ाई करेंगे. तो भाई इंडिया अलायंस तो इसके बाद खत्म है. Whether Aam Aadmi Party wins or loses, the India alliance is history now. But having said that, you tell me, what's your sense about the Congress? Zero again, or do you see improvement? Because there are several surveys that have increased the vote share of the Congress from last time. They're
Yeah.
predicting that from 4% to 9%. Some are giving 7%. What's your sense?
So what's happening out here is, generally, with the exception of, say, the Maharashtra assembly elections last year, uh, our polls tend to get the voter share quite right. They're not able to extrapolate that onto seats. I do believe the Congress vote share is going to go up. In fact, the only party that was active in my area was the Congress. There are certain areas where my friends have been telling me the Congress has been extremely active. One of those seats is the New Delhi seat, which is seeing a three-way contest between Pravesh Verma, Kejriwal, and Sandeep Dikshit. Now,
Correct.
Pravesh Verma is former Chief Minister Sahib Singh Verma's son. And Sandeep Dikshit, everybody knows, is Sheila
Sheila
Dikshit's son.
Dikshit's son.
And the BJP is very clear, if Sandeep Dikshit manages to get 8,000 votes, the BJP has a very good chance then of defeating Kejriwal. If Sandeep gets 12,000 votes, then Kejriwal is finished. 8,000 and 12,000 are the benchmarks for that particular seat that the BJP has set. So I'm not too sure the Congress will open its score, but there will definitely be an increase in the Congress vote share. That is undeniable.
But tell me something. You talked about the New Delhi seat, and I really want to talk about that New Delhi seat. I think last time Kejriwal from that seat won by just about 15,000 odd votes or something, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
Right? He won by some
exactly.
15,000 votes from that seat. Saji Chako, thank you for joining us. Your sense about this New Delhi seats? Abhijit just said that the presence of the Congress, and this is not true of just the New Delhi seat, but of several seats in Delhi. The presence of the Congress, they might be doing a favor to the BJP this time around because they've decided to go after AAP.
Is that question for me?
You have to unmute yourself, Mr. Chako.
I think I'm muted. I'm just checking. 1 sec.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Yeah. So I think the
I can't
Congress
hear
has
you.
played.
I can't hear him. I'm just telling my producers to.
It's on unmute.
Yeah, I hear
think
you.
it's
Now I can hear you. I can hear you
yeah.
just a little
So I
louder.
think the Congress has played the perfect spoiler this time for the Aam Aadmi Party. As I said, they've been the B team of the BJP. I'll venture to call it to that extent. They played the perfect spoiler. Look, even see, this is no longer it's a two-party contest. It's become a triangular contest. So in it, if it were a situation where the BJP were to take on the Aam Aadmi Party singularly, there are only two parties in the fray. Then I think the Aam Aadmi Party would have been at a terrific advantage. Unfortunately, for reasons best known, or differences between the India alliance, it's just the schism is just open up wide. I don't know. By the time the results are declared, probably even the India alliance may not be in existence. The way things are going. So coming back to my point, the Congress, they have played the perfect spoiler. I mean, Aam Aadmi Party, they cut into the traditional votes of the Aam Aadmi Party, and not only that, the AIMM, there's another spoiler. The AIMM also in Jamia, what I understand from my sources, from my thing, is they have already, laid the foundation of the defeat of Amanatullah, which is something which is unbelievable if it were to happen. And we all know Sandeep Dixit. Come on, I mean, he's the son. What are his credentials? He's just the son of the former three-time chief minister. So
No,
I think
I hear
the
you.
Aam
I
Aadmi
hear you,
Party
but
got it
then
all wrong.
that is the way our politics has turned out. That everybody's sons and daughters are coming into politics, and nobody has. What is Rahul Gandhi's claim to fame? He's the son of
No, no,
he's
no.
the son of the Gandhi family, and has had a long an ordinately long training period and has been launched 50 odd times and yet comes up short. But having said that, I would want to understand from you, what was the rationale in your head? What was the rationale in Rahul Gandhi's head? Probably, to why go after the whole reason, I heard this murmur from a lot of our people. भाई इंडिया अलायंस बनी थी for all of us to be together and allow every party to fight and make the other stronger in their turf, right? So in the Delhi, so clearly Rahul Gandhi didn't feel that way for Delhi. He said no, and probably one of the rationale would have been, by Aam Aadmi Party has taken our vote share, which is Congress's vote share, and become Aam Aadmi Party. They didn't take the BJP vote share. AAP took the Congress vote share and became AAP. Rahul Gandhi thought this is an opportunity to get back that vote share from the Aam Aadmi Party. As a result, what we have is a situation where really the old saying about the vote katwa happening, because you are right that it has become a triangular contest, but not for the BJP, only for the Aam Aadmi Party.
Yes, coming back to the point, I think the problem has to be sorted between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party. They didn't come to a consensus. So it is BJP only stands to gain.
Right.
So the problem is again coming to a point. It could be Rahul Gandhi's lack of wisdom. I don't know. I can't. I
Varun Singh,
can't.
your sense, he says that this has to be talked out between the Congress and the Aam Aadmi Party, which means Kejriwal and Rahul Gandhi having a conversation about why did you field 70 candidates in 70 seats in Delhi versus AAP. Do you see that
You know,
conversation happening?
the hopefulness in the voice of Saji that by the end of the counting, probably India Alliance might not stay. I probably say that the India Alliance dispersed or was dismantled long before these elections. Even in Haryana, they couldn't come on the same page and they couldn't fight the election together. Especially the AAP and the Congress, which we are talking about now. So I wasn't expecting even in Delhi that they would come together and fight. And why blame? I don't understand why people want to say that give a clean field to any one of the party which can defeat the Bharatiya Janata Party. Are elections now in this country only about defeating BJP, not about letting other party contest? How can ANM be a spoiler? It has been a political party long back, and there can be nothing but the biggest joke in this country could be there could be nothing bigger than that someone calls or refers the Congress as the B team of Bharatiya Janata Party, because it isn't possible. They have been fighting them ideologically. Rahul Gandhi continuously abuses everything for which the BJP stands for. So as someone who reads politics, as a student of political science, to be very honest, this is the worst analysis may it be state or may it be a Lok Sabha election. To be very honest, I see that the Aam Aadmi Party and the Congress couldn't reach a consensus because, Aditya, as you rightly pointed out, that the Aam Aadmi Party has eaten up those votes that belong to the Congress. And that is the biggest fear that the Congress party in Delhi or in any other state has, that their vote share is depleting with every passing day and they want to regain it. They, immaterial how many times they have launched Rahul Gandhi, 50 times, 100 times, 200 times, but there is still this dream that Rahul Gandhi nurtures, that he wants to become the prime minister of this country, and he can only do it by defeating all these regional parties. And if his vote share increases, even if by 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, look at the hullabaloo they did after winning 99 seats out of 545. So even if it increases by 2%, for them it is more about the moral victory right now. For them it is more about, yes, Rahul Gandhi campaigned and he helped the party get more 3% vote, 4% vote, or 2% vote. It has come down to that, and India Alliance for me doesn't exist. So expecting them to fight together
Yeah,
and telling that
because
BJP would have
I'll just take this to Abhijit, Varun. And just before that, viewers, just look at this numbers on your screen. Remember, these are postal votes first, which include votes cast by the government officials on election duty, the service voters, elderly people, differently able voters who opted for the postal voting facility. Uh, Traditionally, historically, that a large chunk of that vote goes to the BJP, and therefore you see a jump in the BJP count so far in the leading trailing numbers that you see on the top of your screen. When they solidify, of course, there'll be wins and losses, but right now they're just leading and trailing numbers. The scenario can change completely in a bit. But let me just go back to the New Delhi seat, Abhijit, and come to you. In terms of um, Mr. Chako spoke about the B team, BJP being the B team of the, Congress being the B team of the BJP. But it's not just as simple as that, isn't it?
Correct. I don't think Mr. Chako's analysis necessarily contradicts Varun's, or Varun's contradicts Mr. Chako's.
Yeah.
Because, this is a congruence of interests out here and a cannibalization of votes. AAP and Congress contest for the exact same voter demographic, right? It's a very similar kind of messaging to their people. It's essentially they're both cannibalizing each other's votes wherever they contest against each other,
Right.
be it in Delhi, be it in Punjab. In Punjab, of course, during the general elections, the Congress really bloodied up this time round. In Delhi, I suspect there is, there's a whole story to the Congress, to the BJP strategy this time. Did it depend to some extent on the Congress cutting the vote? Yes. But here's the thing, if AAP knew that the Congress was going to cut its vote, why did it not make the necessary concessions to get Congress on board? Right? It takes two people to tango.
चुनाव
You
रहा
can't
है, ये
just
साधारण
put
चुनाव नहीं रहा। ये एक अच्छाई और बुराई की लड़ाई रही है। ये काम और
I'm
गुंडागर्दी की
getting some
लड़ाई
audio.
रही है। और मुझे
Someone
पूरा
were playing
भरोसा है
some.
कि कालका जी के लोग
Is it
और
better?
पूरी दिल्ली के लोग अच्छाई के साथ खड़े होंगे,
No,
काम
I
के
think
साथ खड़े होंगे,
Atishi's voice is
आम आदमी
coming.
पार्टी और अरविंद केजरीवाल
Can you
जी।
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Now, yeah, better now. So what ends up happening is, you look at people like Sandeep Dikshit. Fine, maybe Sandeep Dikshit didn't have to be given the New Delhi seat. Give him some other seat. I think this was a case of classic overconfidence by AAP, which has boomeranged on AAP, and they have nobody but themselves to blame. You can, say that the BJP was the B team, etc., etc., but the Congress was the B team of the BJP. But AAP really brought this down to themselves. The other thing, there are two seats that I'm watching. One is New Delhi, and the other is Okhla,
Yeah,
where
Okhla, absolutely.
Asaduddin has. Yeah.
It's
Okhla is a
become a
place where
four-cornered.
we have a very credible inputs that Asaduddin Owaisi has inflicted very serious damage on the AAP out there. So if Okhla flips, that will be a particularly surprising one. But Okhla and New Delhi are the two seats that I'm personally keeping a watch on.
Absolutely. Okhla, in fact, what we did here, interestingly, and I'm going to talk about the women voters now. And we'll talk about largely, but since of the increase in women voters this time and what that means for the Aam Aadmi Party as well as for the BJP, but particularly about Okhla. A lot of places, the number of women voters, overall has gone up in Delhi. But in Okhla, the number of women voters has gone up by 5 percentage points, the largest uptick in women voters in any constituency in Delhi this time. This is according to the latest Election Commission data. This uptick in number of women voters, 5% more, that's huge. What does this mean? Does this really mean, because these women voters traditionally have gravitated over the last two elections towards the Aam Aadmi Party? Could the pollsters be correct? Varun, would you want to comment on that?
To be very honest, I was reading somewhere that the men voters have increased by 6 lakh this time in Delhi compared to the
No, no,
women
no, no, no.
voters.
There was
So,
some
so
data. No, there was some
yeah,
data that data was wrong. The Election Commission of
absolutely.
India came
But
out.
yes, Election Commission then clarified that more women came out, which also
Yes.
goes on to show, this was the similar trend that we saw in Maharashtra in the November elections. And even then, I have always been very observant about one thing. Wherever the women voters have increased, the victory has been a landslide for whichever party it has been, because they come, I don't know, probably there's some telepathy that works amongst women, that they come out in hordes and they vote only for a specific political party, and that is what has been seen in the past elections too. So probably with the increase in the vote and seeing the way it has helped the Bharatiya Janata Party in other states, we are hoping, and there is this particular analysis that goes in their favor right now also. And to be very honest, that 1,100 rupees ka jo revdi that Aam Aadmi Party probably gave came in very late, and they didn't fulfill that promise in Punjab. That has also been, the Bharatiya Janata Party, which had earlier in the last 1 or 2 years failed in setting narratives on social media and going to the people. Probably this time they managed to speak early on this particular announcement of 1,100 rupees being increased to 2,000 rupees or 2,100 rupees by Kejriwal, and they managed to sink in into women voters that probably look at it. They haven't fulfilled the promise where there was no other political party to stop them or no LG to stop them in Punjab, but they haven't fulfilled it. But the BJP has fulfilled that promise in Madhya Pradesh. They have fulfilled it in Chhattisgarh. They have fulfilled it in Maharashtra. So that one particular message the Bharatiya Janata Party has been able to drive in. And
So the
as I was
question,
telling you
so the
earlier,
question really is this: that
one
who
thing,
is
Alfie,
the
one
Delhi?
small thing.
Yeah, please.
I just wanted to, the water issue in Delhi, water not reaching the taps running dry in the months of April, June, and July, especially in Delhi this year, and May. That cost women a lot of heartburn. पानी बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट इशू होता है, खास करके औरतों के लिए, those who are in the home and they have to run the entire day, and water not being there is one of the most important issue that women voters in Delhi have suffered this year, and probably that is also coming out during the elections.
Okay, let's just listen into Atishi. She's just spoken on the trend so far. Let's listen into what she's saying, and then we'll come back and discuss the women voter. I want to get your sense on this a little more.
चुनाव रहा है, कोई साधारण चुनाव नहीं रहा। हाँ। ये एक अच्छाई और बुराई की लड़ाई रही है, ये काम और गुंडागर्दी की लड़ाई रही है, और मुझे पूरा भरोसा है कि कालका जी के लोग और पूरी दिल्ली के लोग अच्छाई के साथ खड़े होंगे, काम के साथ खड़े होंगे, आम आदमी पार्टी और अरविंद केजरीवाल जी के साथ खड़े होंगे।
दिल्ली के लिए कोई नंबर आप प्रेडिक्ट करना चाहेंगे आज?
देखिए, हम तो पहले ही कई दिनों से कह रहे हैं कि अरविंद केजरीवाल जी चौथी बार मुख्यमंत्री बनेंगे, भारी बहुमत से बनेंगे, और आज शाम तक आंकड़ा आपके सामने होगा।
आपका मार्जिन कितना रहेगा? आप कितना मार्जिन देख रही हैं अगर आप जीते तो?
कुछ घंटे में पता चलेगा।
आपके लिए एक चक्रव्यूह रचा गया था, लेकिन मनीष सिसोदिया, आतिशी, अरविंद केजरीवाल तीनों की सीटों पे बीजेपी ने बहुत बड़ा दांव लगाया था ताकि आम आदमी पार्टी को रोका जा सके।
Okay. All right. So that is Atishi there. There is some problem in the PCR. I cannot hear the audio, so I clearly can't comment on what she just said. But if any of you heard, do let me know also.
She says she Abhi, it was very funny to listen to her because she was like, she's winning with a landslide. The Aam Aadmi Party is making the government, and you all
But
cutting
then
before she could
all
answer.
politicians say this before till the final
No,
results
but,
come in.
but you
So
all
it's all
you all
right.
cutting at a very important juncture where she was about to say that someone asked her a question that the BJP played very hard to defeat you, and yet you have come out very fantastically in the elections, and at that point it was cut. And I wanted to hear
Okay,
what she was going to say on that.
now I'm